Now losing 2-0 to them. What are you on? 1-2 grand a week? You don't want to get any further and you could have lost more room for the bus. Goes, do you think it's anything to do with the fact that you were in a karaoke bar till 1 a.m. on Friday night?
Yes, I knew it. I told them.
You've let me down, you've let the club down, you've let your families down, like you went mad. You ever tell me to take a player off again who's your teammate and I'll rip your head off.
I think you said, you're here all the time, what do I do?
I was captain and stuff and he dropped my wages massively, like more, about 65%. I was so fuming at him, right? I just followed him down the tunnel, left the game going on, and his face was bleeding, scratched, and he went, come on, who's with me?
Right, pal?
Right, pal.
How are we?
Good. Back in the studio.
Yeah, what've you been up to?
Been down to London again. 3 Wednesdays on the trap.
Always there. What's going on?
We just had a bit of a full agency meeting, which was good to be fair. All the agents from like France, Spain, Germany, Belgium, all
Where are you in the pecking order there?
right at the top.
No, yeah, you the
Right
little
at the very
Joey.
top. I was getting the coffees in for everyone.
Now you're doing all right, aren't you?
Yeah, doing good. Yeah, it's good. It's going well.
Decent.
It's going well, but we ended up, I was just telling our guest, we ended up in a cigar lounge. Never been to a cigar lounge before. So in Cavendish Square, you go in, it's like a sealed room. It gets opened up and then you can choose a cigar.
All right, I thought you'd smoked in there.
Yeah. So you choose a cigar, then they take you through to another bit and you choose like a brandy or something like that complements the cigar, or a wine if you want a wine.
Sounds hanging.
I know. And then they take you into another sealed room. And then you sit and you have your cigar and have your drinks and stuff like that. So we chose a cigar. We had 2 bottles of wine. Then we went on to these little like old-fashioned cocktails, they were called. And then one of the people in there were 4 of us. One of the guys went, "I'll get the bill. Like I'll put it on the business." Like, yeah, sounds. We walked to the thing. He went, £1,480, please.
1.4 for that.
£1,480. I was like, I looked at the cigars. Cigars were like 105 quid each.
You didn't enjoy it either, did you?
No, I really enjoyed it.
What, the cigar?
It were free. I didn't pay for it.
Smoke anything, me.
So yeah, it was an experience. But yeah, it was good.
Yeah, I wouldn't be doing that though.
No.
It's not for me.
And then I took my daughter to watch Wicked Little Letters
Shite.
at the cinema. No, it's brilliant. You need to go and watch it.
Yeah, will do. What? Where does that come from there?
It was just a really good film.
Bit different to my weekend, to be honest.
Go on then, what was yours like?
Another 3 points and a 30-man brawl. So
30-man brawl, so that's subs and everyone.
subs, Kitman. I think the physio got a dig. I think I went for physio, to be honest.
Who were you playing? Well, I was the smallest.
Ilkeston, yeah. So all the players were going off. I seen 2 centre halves and I seen the physio as well. So I thought he had glasses on. I thought he's getting it.
No, I've googled Ilkeston. They've got a woman physio.
They've not. It's a lad, but I did feel bad after. I heard he was going through some bad times. So I hope he's all right. I'm sorry, mate.
Oh, you digged him?
Well, I didn't hit him. No, I was just throwing my weight around.
Chest pumping.
Yeah, I just got a lot of weight at the minute, so I was just putting it to use. So yeah, scrap at half time. Went on to win.
Did you score?
Good weekend. No, I didn't actually.
Pathetic.
No, I was pretty pony.
Was you?
Yeah, but it's Astro. You know, like when Astro now, like I'm too old. My knees just go.
And you have looked like you put a bit of weight on. That's when you started wearing baggy jeans. When did baggy jeans come back in?
I don't know. Some of the young lads in the changing room started wearing them, so I thought
you turned up.
I'm going to get a bit of like one of them guys now. You know, like you see the young lads doing something. Think I'll have a bit of that.
It's horrendous. I wondered where you left your skateboard.
Yeah, it's shocking. Move on. Who have we got today?
Who knows with you, Jordan? Because I remember you saying, like,
this is a bad one.
We've got Will Abraham. I was like, Will Abraham? I don't recognise that name.
I went, no.
I went, oh, no, Aaron Wilbraham.
Aaron Wilbraham. How are we doing, pal?
All good, mate. How are you?
Yeah, not too bad. Travelled down from Knutsford.
Wilmslow, mate, now.
Wilmslow.
Moved up in
born in Knutsford.
Knutsford Council Estate to the Wilmslow.
Oh, he's on a council estate.
Yeah.
Right, well, I need to thank Alty's first team ball boy for getting you in. So, Ross Spate, thank you very much, sir. Done a good job there. Cheers, pal. How do you know him?
Just through, he's friends with one of my mates. They've got kids at the same school, so It come about through that.
Right.
And my daughter's boyfriend plays for Holt under 23s as well. So
Right,
Ross
so
was
yeah.
his manager.
Yeah,
Ross was his ball boy.
Good gaffer,
last
to be
season.
fair. He gets the lads together. He's got all sorts of like little games.
Yeah.
and stuff,
Daughter's
but-
boyfriend, that's one thing I'm not looking forward to.
To be fair, he's a good lad, to be fair.
Is
He
he?
doesn't drink or anything. And the boys are like, oh, you'll soon sort that out, but you'll get him on the beer. I'm like, no, I quite like the fact that my daughter's boyfriend doesn't drink. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? There's no
Yeah.
cannon in there.
That might be why he don't drink though, because people who don't drink have
Yeah.
always been
There's something
wrong.
happened.
No, he's just fully into sex.
Said.
Can't be saying
But no,
that.
yeah,
Has to
so
keep
he
himself fresh.
was Ollie's manager last year, so it come about a little bit through that, yeah.
Right, well, he just used to be. He didn't have the title of first team coach that he does now, so he was just in and around the changing room all the time. Top lad, but he put a bit of Terry on, and he decided to do some runs while we were having dinner. I swear to God, the lads watched him at Knutsford. Have you been to Edgerton?
Yeah.
In that glass window, we watched him. He was fucking going backwards. He tried doing a 3K. I think it took him 25 minutes to do 3K. Mate, I was like, just give it up, Ross. He'd come back in sweating. He was like, yeah, I don't think that's for me, is it? It was awful. So, yeah, there you go, Ross. Have a bit of that.
Well, so which high school did you go to?
Southampton, Knutsford High.
Knutsford High,
Yeah.
because I was speaking to my boss, and you know him, don't you, Tam?
Yeah.
And I was telling him that you was on the show this week, and he said, "Oh, first time I ever met him, he went to a private school,
Right.
like a real posh private school."
Of course he did.
And and he said, "We once played against you guys," and he said, "I don't know why, but he was a goalkeeper, but he got asked to play centre half and go up against you. 'Cause he's quite a tall lad." And he said, for 90 minutes. He was just like trying to elbow me, chest pumping me, trying to start a fight with me. He said, I was like this posh private schoolboy thinking, what the hell's this guy doing? He said, well, that's the first time he ever met you.
To be fair, I don't remember it. I obviously know Tam, but our school team was also our Sunday League team, which was at Edgerton, actually. I played for Edgerton Youth Club, so we trained together 3-4 times a week and played twice a week together. So we were a little bunch of scallies back then, to be fair. So we did, and we often had it with other schools. But obviously, if you come up against the private school boys like Tam, you've got to just
Yeah,
give him a little
that's half the battle, wasn't it?
intimidate him a little bit.
100%.
Well, to be fair, he said that the teacher came over and told him well done. So he said, I must have done all right. But yeah, he said, I was 14-year-old. I'd like crap myself thinking, who's this guy?
No recollection of that, to be fair. He's never mentioned that Tam when I've seen him.
No,
He's probably
no.
scared I'm going to start chest pumping away.
Probably, yeah. So your first club, you started off at Stockport. Is that
Yeah.
right? Is that where you came through at the time?
So yeah, I was at Man City under 15s, under 16s. I got spotted playing for Edgerton when I was 15. And then City released me at 16. And I was a season ticket holder there, devastated, been a City fan all my life. And that used to go with my nan and granddad. Cried all the way home, gutted. And then I just started dossing about, went back playing for Edgerton. And then I was going into the high school still, because I was seeing a girl who was a year below me, so she was still at school. And my old PE teacher was thinking, like, Aaron's just like fucking about, hanging around school, just still like. So he pulled me and he just said, like, are you still wanting to get a club, Aaron? I said, yeah. He said, I know, youth team manager at Stockport. Let me give him a call, see if you can go down for a trial. And obviously, this was about.
He just wanted you to stop hanging around the school, didn't he? It was like,
I know where this goes.
yeah.
No, so he obviously the YTSs had been there since July when pre-season started. This was about August, September. So I went in at a late stage, and I just remember in my first game we played Bury. I think it was 0-0, but I ran around like just like hungry for it. And he kind of used me as an example and was like, "This on the dole, and he ran about more than all of you. You need to have a little look at him." And I just felt like $1 million because he made a little like thing. And then I just kept working hard on the trial, got given a 2-year YTS, and it went from there really. I did a year of that. Dave Jones was the first team manager, and he left to go to Southampton. And Gary Megson took over, and I was only a second year YT. And pre-season, Gary Megson said to me, like, usually when a manager leaves on good terms and goes to a Premier League job or something, they give a good takeover to the next manager. He said, and Dave Jones has told me about the young lads in the youth team and who's good and who's not, and he's never mentioned you. Why do you think that is? And I said, don't know, perhaps he just didn't fancy me. He goes, no, he wants to take you to Southampton with him. But I think if you go there, you're going to be stuck in their reserves and their youth teams for the next 4 years. Whereas look at Stockport, look what's ahead of you in the first team. I'll give you a 3-year pro now, stay here. And this was as I was starting my second year YTS, so I was like, young kid.
What league were they in then as well? Because you forget how...
Championship, yeah. So they're in, like, so I was like thinking, right, so he said, you can come to Portugal with the first team next week, you'll sign your contract over there. So I was like...
Buzzing.
Didn't have an agent, I just rang my mum.
Yeah.
Like, Mum, offer me 200 quid a week. Mum's like, sign it. You know what I mean? Like, straight off the council estate.
Yeah.
So I went over to Portugal with the first team. They offered me this 3-year deal. I think it was like 200 quid a week, going to 300, going to 400. And then that first year of that contract, where I still should have been a second year YT, we sold Alan Armstrong to Middlesbrough for like 1.5 million. And Gary Megson pulled me in and said, we're playing Man City at Main Road on Saturday. I know they release you. I know you've still got your season ticket there. I'm going to give you a full debut against them. Like, so I was like fucking buzzing. And it was quite good actually, because like I used to like literally like wait outside for autographs and that, going in the players' entrance at Main Road. It was class. I had to give my mum my season ticket to go and sit in my seat with my nana while I played on the pitch. It was just the maddest debut ever. And then it was Sean Goater's debut for City, 1998 Grand National Day. Remember all the lads doing a sweepstake on the bus. I'd never been on the bus before, all sticking a fiver in for a horse and that. I was just like weighing everything up as a young lad, do you know what I mean? And then...
How old was you? Like 18?
Yeah. So the game started, like 33,000 there, something like that. Goater scores on his debut after 5 minutes. Fucking like blue moons ringing around the stadium. I'm nearly joining in. Like fucking... And then
cheering when he scores.
Straight from the kickoff, we done the old-fashioned kickoff of like pass, set back, big boom to the wing, and our winger's gone up for an head. It's kind of ricocheted between his head and the fullback's head and just gone into his path. So I've just gambled and got in the box. He's whipped it in, and this is straight from the kickoff, and I've just left foot volleyed it in. And the whole of Main Road from singing that has just gone quiet, and you've heard about 1,200 Stockport fans at the other end of the stadium. Like, and I just run off.
How did that feel though? Is that your debut goal then?
Yeah, so like fought on my full debut. Yeah, so like
against the team you supported.
Yeah, and who got rid of me and all. And like the lads who they had took on were all sat behind the bench, still like nowhere near it. Do you know? Like, and they were like, "Fucking hell, how's that lad who got released from here?" Like, you know what I mean?
That wrong.
So it was, So like
hanging around schools.
Yeah, but I ran off and I didn't know what. I just. Like, my mum used to have the still pictures in her house of me celebrating. I'm running off and everyone's fucking jumping on me because obviously they know how much. And then it stayed 1-1 for about 70 minutes. It was a decent game. And it's a season that City went down to League One. Do you remember when they went down? So they were trying. It was like a bit of a derby for Stockport, not so much City, but like they were fighting. And then
Andy Morrison weren't there at the time, right?
No, I think Pollock was playing. Gerard Vikins, Tony Vaughan were the centre halves, Richard Edgill, Jeff, the Whitley brothers, Goater, Lee Bradbury, Juve Rosler was on the bench. I remember that, and he was one of my idols. Like, so I was like, but it was just like a mad feeling and like fucking best debut ever. Like, and I just went from that. And then because I did that, they gave me a new contract, new 4-year deal, and it just went from there. And just to kind of establish myself and
all
kind
from
of
one opportunity as well. It's...
And kind of what Megson said, he'd kept to his word, like, don't go to I don't know if Southampton did want me. He just assumed, being a clever manager, Dave Jones, why has he not mentioned this kid? Because, like, he looks all right. And then I ended up staying I was there from 16, like, when I left school, when I stopped hanging around schools, to when I was 24, So I was there for in the Championship. Had loads of different managers. Dave Jones was the first one, was YTS, Gary Megson, Andy Kilner, who you might not have heard of, but he was under 16s manager, got stepped up for a bit. Carlton Palmer took over from him. And he was,
I was Carlton because he is.
I loved him, to be fair. Like, he was a character. We clashed a few times, like, but he was a character. Like, he was big times, like, because he.
He's like,
did he do big time shouts?
Yeah.
But Seds, you was like that to us at Salford. He was proper big time. So.
I love, but in a funny way, though.
Not in a nasty way. Yeah, you can. If it's like that, you can take it. And that's what I liked about it, because he was a manager, though. It was weird because he was player manager, like, and he was having himself. He was banned from driving at the time for drink driving, so he had a Bentley chauffeur bringing him in every day, and the lads were just like, "This isn't right." Like, do you know what I mean? And the only reason he got the job, he lived on the same road as the chairman in Sheffield, so every time he's walking the dog, he's like, "You gonna give me the job yet?" Like, he kept getting into the chairman,
kept badgering
and the chairman ended up giving him the job, but it just used to be like on the training pitch, because he'd player manager joining in training. He used to stink of red, white, like he'd stink of booze every day. But he'd take us on a 12-15 minute run, and you had to keep up with him, and he'd be at the front, and even though you could smell the booze off him, you're thinking he can run all day.
Really?
He could run all day, even still at that age, because he was coming obviously to mid-30s. And then he just used he'd join in the shooting sessions and like kick the ground and fall over the ball, and all the boys would be laughing because it's a gaffy, and he's like, "Oi, fuck off, you cunts! I've took bigger clumps out of Wembley." Like he'd say stuff like that, and like he used to, like, even when he was angry, he'd come out with a big time shout. So he'd be like, "Fucking hell, losing 2-0 to them. What are you on? 1-2 grand a week? You don't want to get any further, and you could have lost more room for the bus." Used to give it all that, like, and it was them proper old school shouts.
What can you say there?
I love stuff like that.
He was class, but even like,
I've lost my. It was. I can't remember. I don't think it was Alan Wright. I can't remember. We had a fine at Fleetwood, and we all had to chip in like a grand each because it was a big melee on the pitch.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure it was Alan Wright. I can't remember. And he said, "For a grand. Fuck, I have to go and get that change out of my car." In the little change box. I just love little shouts like that.
It was funny. And like, he took us to Dublin once, and I was waiting for my case, and this like, or I just borrowed a like little case. My mum had like, didn't even have a suit. Like, she sent me this little hold all to go on. So it come round, and he just whispered, like, he was a gaffer, and just walked past me and went, "Albie," and what? He goes, "I can't believe they sent that before my Louis." Like, because he had a Louis Vuitton bag on the way around. And he was just, I loved him because he was class. But like,
what did you clash over then?
So he dropped me away at Chef Wednesday for a young kid. So he played Chrissy Williams, who's a good mate of mine, and John Daly, an Irish lad. So
I know John Daly. Come on loan to Bury.
Yeah,
he played up in Scotland.
Yeah, good lad, didn't he? So he was like older. So Chrissy was the young lad, and he dropped me, and I just didn't think I deserved to be dropped. So I was a bit like fuming away at Hillsborough and that. I mean, I spoke to my mate on the morning of the game, and he went, "Are you on the bench though?" Yeah, I went, "Yeah." He goes, "If you come on and score, you should run over and sit on the bench," just to say, "Well, I'm on the bench," right? So I went, "Yeah, I might do that." Anyway,
bad idea. Whose advice is that?
So like 2-0 down at half time. Like I'm going to the toilet and I hear him go, "Albie, get ready, you coming on?" I'm like, "All right, coming on now. We're 2-0 down." So he leaves the young kid on, but brings John Daly off. So I come on. And in about 55th minute, I come on in 10 minutes, I score, but I'm thinking, can't really run over and do it now because we're still losing. So I give it like one of them, like to him, like, thingy.
What, like showing your name?
I ran past the bench like that and then got the centre, like took the ball back to the centre. And then I think last minute I equalised. So I thought, right, fuck it. So I ran over to the bench and he's like that, thinking I'm going to give him a hug. And I just kind of dropped the shoulder and went past him and just nodded. Seats are like set back at Hillsborough, like the big sports seats, aren't there? Like 2 rows of them. I just sat there like that. And then like in the picture in the paper, it was tucked from the other side of the pitch. All the subs and all the lads who were involved are jumping down laughing because I've done it. And you just see the back of Carlton Palmer's big long body. Like when I've gone past him, he's gone like that way.
You just pied him.
Yeah. And then to be fair, he got asked about it in his interview and he said, no, he stuck 2 fingers up at me, but he's done it in the right way. That's how I want my strikers to react. And he rang me on the Sunday and was like, "What's going on, big man? Come on, let's sort this out." And it was just about being dropped. I was never throughout my career, I was never really like a bad egg. If I wasn't in the team and that, I'd stay good around the lads because I didn't used to like it if I was in the team and someone was spitting a dummy out, being a bit of a bad egg around. Like I'm thinking, come on.
It looks crap though, doesn't it?
Yeah, and I was never like that. And it wasn't a case of me being like that. I just felt like I didn't deserve to be dropped, and I thought I'll just come on and prove him wrong, and I did it.
Yeah,
that was that. But in terms of the last big time show, I've just got to remember this one because it was funny. He used to join in training, obviously player manager, like I've said, and it was John Daly. He was like 7-all in training and 5-a-side or something, 8-a-side. And the assistant Kev Richardson says, "Right, next goal wins." So it went on for a while, and like John Daly got the ball, Carlton was playing centre half, and he's thinking he's got him, and didn't. He just dropped the shoulder, turned and shot, scored. So we're all down like stretching afterwards and that, and Kev Richardson walks past and goes like behind the gaffer. He goes, "Ooh, Carlton, you got turned inside out there by young John, didn't you?" Like that, trying to wind him up, and he goes, "Yeah, I did, Rico, but I didn't in a new count when I'm out Ronaldo at the game." And he always had an answer for everything, and I thought he was class, and like I've spoke to him a few times over the years since, but he's always had the same banter, and yeah, he was one of the funny managers that I had, to be fair.
Yeah, he sounds like a belter.
Yeah, see, I'd love that. I love stuff like that.
Yeah, but he used to do it when we was at Salford. We didn't even have our names on our back. We were in like proper low leagues, and he was just well big time. But I actually found it funny. Yeah. Some lads used to hate it, didn't they?
Yes, like some lads didn't take it how it was. Yeah. Take it. So like I'd get my shirt and be like, like looking, and they'd be like, "What's wrong?" I'm like, "It's just weird to play without your name on your back. Like, it's just like, how do you guys do it? You know, just silly things like that."
When I'd got up to the Prem and then obviously dropped, because I was up, like, I don't class myself as a Premier. I had 2 seasons in the Prem with Norwich and Palace, but I played lower league and League One, a bit of champion up front. So when I dropped back down to like Bristol City, Bolton, Rochdale, I used to give it. No, when the Nike balls come out, like at the FA Cup game, lad, you won't be used to these, but I am, like, from the Premier League days. So like, you could touch them in the warm. I used to stay
I don't use them. I don't need them. Sedge used to do. So we was both on the bench together one day, and he used to like come out. But before he'd come out, he'd be like, "So, when you're on the bench, what do you need?" As if like he's like, "Do I need this coat? Should I take my shin pads?" He's like, "Oh, Sedge, fuck off." But get out there, and go. How do bench lads warm up? What do we do? I would just be like, "Oh, lad, sure."
But people who knew me like were laughing their heads off,
don't they? Like,
and the other, like some lads who didn't know me were just like, "Oh, big time! What did you?" Like, just as always serious. Like,
I just knew. I was like, I think you said you're here all the time. What do I do?
I remember at Rochdale, trialists come in and asked me my name. Yeah. And I said it, and as he walked off, I said to him, "Not watch match of the day." But obviously, I didn't expect him to know me really. It was always tongue in cheek. But even when I first got promoted to Norwich for the first time in the Premier League, we all went out in Essex, and Jamie O'Hara was in the bar we were in, and he just kind of hovered around our table and stayed around our table. And at the time, I think he was at Wolves, and they'd been relegated to the Champ, and we'd been to the Prem. So I was going to lads, "Oi, get these fucking Championship players off our table." Obviously. Pure banter. He'd had a good Premier League career. I'd been fucking nowhere, but the lads used to love it because they knew I was only bantering. But I love them type of shouts in football. You can't beat it.
Yeah. I was at the golf club the other week, and someone was like introducing, like, was in our team, and he, like, this guy leant over and he went, you know, that is all like, "Who are you?" I went, "Hi mate, Garrison," and he went, "Oh," and I just went, "Has he not got BBC One?" Just
plot from a fucking documentary 8 years ago.
What, to like a 70-year-old bloke?
Ian from the golf club.
Yeah, you just do it. It's like, it's a bit like a Tourette's thing.
It's sometimes that can happen though outside of football, and people do take it the wrong way. Like in the changing room, all the boys love it. Sometimes you can go back to a different type of group out of football, and it's like big time basketball.
You walk off and why have I said that?
I've done it once where we were talking to, you know, like somebody comes over to you and you go, "Oh, well, like, where do I know you from?" And I'm looking at him and thinking, I'm like, "Oh, I don't know, mate." And he went, "Oh, I well recognise your face." And I went, "Oh, I was on the documentary with Salford, like BBC One, like might have been that." He went, No, do you go Thrive Gym in Rochdale?" I was like, "Oh no."
Yeah.
Do you know, he just want the whole ground to, I was like, "Oh no." It's like, sound such a dick.
Thrive Gym. At least you know people are looking at you there.
I was like, "Oh yeah, that's me." So you went on loan to where it says Moss.
Yeah, Moss FK in Norway.
In Norway.
How did you feel about that when he said?
No, to be fair, I'd broke my toe towards the end of the season at Stockport. I think this was when in the Championship. And as I came back, say I was out 6 weeks or something, I came back for the last game of the season against Forest. And then I think we got beat 3-2. Forest went up to the Prem, and I scored 2. And the manager said to me after the game, "We want this player from Moss FK. He's like the Finnish captain, Jarkko Viss, he was called." And he said, "And we've spoke to the club and they won't drop the fee for him, but if you're willing to go on loan for like 2-3 months, you'll get more money, you'll get an apartment, you'll get a car."
Is that because they have a different...
Yeah, while you're out of season.
Their
season
starts
like in May,
yeah.
as ours was finishing.
Yeah.
So he said, because you've missed the last 6 to 8 weeks, it'll be good for you to get fitness. And like you're only going to miss really pre-season and a bit of August, and you'll come back near end of August, start of September, and you'll be hitting the ground running.
Yeah, you'll be fit anyway.
So I didn't feel like he was bluffing me. And like the good thing was, there was a lad who played for Stockport called Kent Bergerson. He was like 33 years of age, coming to the end of his career, and he said Kent's going to go as well. And he was obviously buzzing to go back home, and Kent was like talking me into it, going, "Albie, you'll love it," and all this. So I was like, right, I'll do it. It's an experience, innit? So I went over there, and for the first like 4 weeks while the club was sorting me apart, I lived with Kent in the middle of Oslo.
Right.
But when we landed at Oslo Airport, he was getting papped and that because he'd played for Norway a couple of times. So it was like Kent returns home and all this, and I'm just in the background. And then I lived with Kent for the first like month, and he was like, some rock star. He was just taking me out every night, and I'm thinking, I'm trying to get alone there. And he was taking me out and like meeting all these models and obviously Scandinavian women.
Yeah, it sounds shit if I'm honest.
And he was taking me out, and I think the club got wind of it and were like, we need to get this young lad in the apartment in Moss. And then he took me to Moss, and it's like the weirdest little place ever. It's got like a really strange industrial smell. Anyone who's ever been there, every time you get out your car or you walk out, it's like this weird smell throughout the whole town because of this big industrial city. So I ended up going there, got an apartment there, and it ended up being, I think I was there for about 2 months. Double session. I went over there thinking it was going to be a piece of piss, like playing the English Championship. I'll go over there and smash it. It was a proper good standard, like Rosenberg.
What, like technicality?
Yeah, like really good players.
They're
like
all massive as well.
Yeah, like strong runners, athletic. And I was thinking, this is an eye opener. And some of the players, a lot of the players I played against, I remember them. I remember seeing the name playing for Rosenberg in the Champions League years later. And I was thinking, I knew he'd be decent. Like, kept my eye on it. But no, I loved it. I got called back after about 2.5 months. It was meant to be 3 months. Came back into the Championship with Stockport. I think I ended up scoring 13 goals and got like Player of the Year, Players Player, top goal scorer for Stockport.
Do you think that really helped you?
Everyone said it did, but I was thinking, fucking, I was out because I was out on a piss every week. But
because did someone pull you up about it?
So when I was over there, they did this really strange thing. Although the training was really difficult, they had double sessions every day. But then on a Friday after the double session, you'd get the Saturday off and then play Sunday, which I just find really strange. So like Friday night, a couple of the injured lads and a couple of lads who are a bit older was like, just go for a pizza, like a couple of drinks, like nothing mad, game of bowling or something. But then obviously after a couple, it's like you fancy another.
Never happens that.
See, I'd have thought, like if you think about like Norwegians and Swedish and like really professional, like you'd never expect it.
They love a drink, no. They do love a drink and a cigarette.
I'm saying to you, it's like the Vikings,
and they were all on the snuffs back then. This was like 2000, before it come over here, and everyone's mad for that now. They were all on that then, and they just, but like, don't get me wrong, a lot of the time it would just be a couple of drinks, game of bowling, back home. Yeah. But one night it escalated, and I ended up in a karaoke bar singing Boys to Men, end of the road. And just with a couple of the injured boys. So the other lads had gone home, and I'd thought, I'm staying out for a bit, I'll be all right. And so I'm singing karaoke and all that in this bar, and the lads are like laughing. And then we had the Saturday off, woke up with a bit of fuzzy head, and then played Sunday, and we got beat 4-0 in this cup game. And over there, the reporters can just come into the changing room after the game and just start interviewing.
That's mad, isn't it?
You just walk in, it's like,
lads
have got the towels around them and that, yeah. So he came in, and he was like, Aaron, difficult game today. And I said, yeah, like we didn't quite turn up, and yeah, we're out the cup, bit disappointed, but we'll kick on again next week in the league.
Usual.
And and he goes, do you think it's anything to do with the fact that you were in a karaoke bar till 1 a.m. on Friday night? And I just was like, my face must have been like, wow, yeah. So I just was like, what are you talking? Don't understand. What do you mean? Like, even though we speak in English, I was like, what? So I just kind of blanked him and walked off. Just didn't even finish the interview. I just like gave him a dirty look, walked off. And then I said to the manager, like, this reporter's over there trying to say I was in a karaoke bar on Friday night. And he was like, don't worry about it.
Totally denying it to the gaffer.
He was like,
Gaffy, if you hear anything,
I wanted
it's
to nip
bullshit.
it in the bud. I was like, this guy over there, who's that? So, and he just said, listen, Aaron, don't worry, you're a young foreigner. He's just trying to make trouble for you. And I was like, right, okay. But then like Kent, because Kent obviously was older pro, he said, the gaffer knows you're out. You need to be careful. I was like, yeah, sorry, mate. Like, I won't do it again. I didn't, to be fair.
What a right, Kent.
But
so, like, was you into your bowling and stuff? Was that a thing they did over there?
I liked a bit of time. It was just a little social one, table tennis, bit of bowling and all that. But no, I enjoyed my time out there. It was good laugh.
Sounds class. I'd love to do it.
My mate's just got a job at the bowling alley.
Oh, God.
No, seriously, it's not full time. It's only temping.
That don't even make sense. Yeah, it does. Fucking hell. He's only temping, right? I get you.
It's slow as anything, isn't it?
Jesus Christ.
So how did your move come about? You ended up going to Hull.
Hull, yeah. So
Hull bought you as well, didn't they?
Yeah. So Colin Murphy, an older coach who Carlton Palmer brought in as like to help him.
Yeah.
It never really worked out of them because they were always clashing. There was Kev Richardson as assistant. Colin Murphy was a wise old, like wily old guy, and Carlton should have listened to him more, but he didn't. He'd go off doing his own thing, and Col ended up getting frustrated, leaving, and Peter Taylor took him in at Hull City. And Colin had rang somebody who'd rang me and said, Hull are interested. So I got my agent to kind of try and manoeuvre it. And yeah, at the time, I felt like Sammy McElroy took over at Stockport, and I felt like he was our pieing me off pre-season a bit anyway.
Right, so you had an inkling that you
in
might
the
not be
games
in.
and stuff, he was starting like John Daly and Luke Becker, and I was thinking, is he like trying to pie me off here? And then this come about, and then all of a sudden, Sammy Rock was like, oh, don't go. And I was like, well, I could read the writing was on the wall with me anyway. And he was like, no, not at all. I was just giving everyone else a chance, but he wasn't. I could honestly, because he'd asked me, I think he'd asked me to go on loan and stuff as well. So I was thinking, no.
You know then.
I need to go. So I ended up signing for Hull, Peter Taylor signed, and I signed at the same time as Nick Barmby. So I was a bit like starstruck, because been at Stockport in my comfort zone for 8 years, straight from school, and then all of a sudden signed the same with Nick Barmby, a couple of the signings, and they'd just been promoted from League 2 to League 1. And then, I went in there. He only had a year there, to be fair. And Peter Taylor used to play, he'd play like all these like 6 foot big lads away from home. And then at home, he'd play all these little nippy technical. Honestly, it was like, if you look back at that season, he had like 2 teams home and away. So I think I started like 14 away games, but hardly any home games. So, and we had a great record, and we ended up getting promoted. And it was like, it was class. Like, and if I'm honest,
and did you play a different style then? Obviously, when
a little bit,
a bit
more direct away from home, a bit more tight, a bit more strong, and all like, and at home really expansive. It was good how we did it, to be fair, because it worked and we got promoted. But if I'm honest with myself, I struggled a little bit. I remember Nick Barmby going like to me, Albie, you're a fucking good player. Like, what's up with, like, come on, like. And I think it was just a little bit of like stepping out of that comfort zone. Yeah. It took me to go to Hull, and I didn't have a stinker. We got promoted, and I was involved in them away games and stuff, and scored a couple of goals. But I think it took me to go to Hull and think, right, next time I move, wherever I go, I ain't letting that happen again, kind of thing. Do you know what I mean? And it was a good. Did
you think the stop-start, though, didn't help? Because I think, especially as a striker, you need to continually play.
Yeah,
and once you get a goal, you want to play the next game, the next game. When you stop starting, it's.
I think I just accepted it because I had such a big squad, and because obviously former England manager, and just thinking, right, respect and. But yeah, probably maybe that as well. But no, I
sometimes you change your whole thing though, don't you? When you move clubs, you have to like find your. Like,
exactly.
When I was at Alty, I could literally do what I wanted, and I knew I was playing on a Saturday, and I'd just go and score goals. And then I moved to Fylde, and I had to do things so much different. Yeah. Well, I didn't. I just did because I thought I did. Yeah. And I went. I was gone.
And you feel like you have to prove yourself again. And
you come out your comfort
zone. You want people to know what you like. Yeah. So I think it was a little bit of that. But at the same time, it was a promotion and it was a successful season. Yeah. And I had another year left on my contract, but MK Don's shown some interest. And Peter Taylor pulled me and he said, listen, Albie, like, it's been a good season. He said, and I'm not saying you're not going to play next year, but you're probably going to start on the bench. And sometimes you might struggle to even get on the bench with the strikers that I'm going to be bringing in. So I'm just letting you know, MK Dons are interested. I think I was like 25 at the time. He said, you need to be playing every week. Yeah. And you're not going to probably do that here. So the club will give you a bit of money to leave if you're interested in going. So I thought, right. So I got a little bit of money to go, went to MK Dons.
Is that back in League One?
So they were in League 2 at the time.
Right.
No, League 1. No, it was League 1. You're right. And then I went there and Danny Wilson was the manager and he was like really like complimentary when he met me and stuff. I was thinking, right, okay. And then I went there. And he just hardly played me. He just didn't play me from start to finish. And we were in the bottom 3 all year. And I used to go in and go, Gaffer, like, any chance of a game? Like, I come and...
It's not like you're doing well. I mean, it's not like you're flying.
That's the thing, isn't it? And he was like, no, you bang on, Albie. You're dead right. You bang on, yeah, you're right. And I was like, okay. So the next game had come, just completely pie me. And it just happened all season. And I remember we played Bradford toward, I think it was about March time. And
can you put your finger on why? Any reason?
I don't honestly, and I didn't do anything wrong.
Were you training badly?
No, and I was in no karaoke bars. It was nothing like that. No, it wasn't. And I think he had Clive Platt and Isle McLeod up front, and I think he just wanted to go with them two, and like they'd done well from the year before, and fair enough. But I thought I was being brought in to play, not to be a backup. So, and the fact that it wasn't working, like you say, they were in the bottom 3. I was just a bit like disappointed. So. We played Bradford in around the March, and our keeper got injured in the warm-up, and then the keeper who came in for him and started got injured in about the 40th minute. So Danny Wilson looks around the bench and he was like, Albie, fancy going goal.
I went after put you on.
I was, in goal.
In
right?
net.
So I come on against Bradford at 0-0 at half-time. It was hailstone in like every goal.
Had he ever seen you in the net before? Or has he just gone for you because you're big?
Yeah, because we already he didn't expect to lose both keepers, and the lads were like, Albie, what, like, you might as well do it. And I was like, right. So I did it. It was at that hockey. Do you ever play at that hockey stadium in Milton Keynes? It was like the wind was terrible in there. So I played, Actually got an assist as well, threw it out to Dean Lewington, and he went on a bit of a mad one and banged one top corner, so we got an assist to keeper. But we got beat 2-1. No, sorry, we won 2-1. Steve Claridge scored past me, which isn't the most worst thing to happen. And we won 2-1. And on the Sunday, I was sat home, and the phone rang. It was Colin Todd, the Bradford manager, and he was like, I've spoke to Danny, we want to take you on loan. And I was like, as a keeper or as a striker? And he was like, I think we'll go with a striker one. So I just had my little girl. She was literally 3 weeks, like 4-6 weeks old, something like that. And I said, the thing is, Colin, I said, I've just had a daughter, missus on her own down there, no family. I don't really want to leave her like when she's newborn. And he went, well, what if you just train with us on a Friday and play Saturday? You can train with MK for the rest of the week. So I went, yeah. So I trained at MK all week. Then I used to travel to Bradford, train on Friday, play on a Saturday.
It's not that far, is it?
No, and we did all right. Like, so I think we won 5 out of 6 games for Bradford, and MK lost every one while I was away. So I was just like, right, well, it is what it is. And then for the last month of the season, so say for April, Colin Todd wanted to extend it, me stay at Bradford, and Pete Winckelman, the chairman, rang me and said, Albie, you're coming back and you're playing. So I think Pete Winckelman said to Danny Wilson, no, not having this anymore. Like, we've got this player here who's gone to Bradford and he looks like he's doing all right. We've lost every game. So I got put in for the whole of April, and we won nearly every game in April. And on the last day, I got injured for the last game away at Rotherham. So I went with the lads and was supporting the boys, and we needed to win to stay up, and we got beat. So I was devastated in the end because we got relegated.
Yeah.
And
If he'd just put you in earlier.
Yeah, well, no, I'm not being big time saying that, but like, no, but in a way it was like bottom 3 all year. I was like, come on, Gaffer, like, do you know what I mean? Just give us a chance. And then Martin Allen took over pre-season, and he was crackers, by the way.
Mad dog,
class, yeah, but he was
Someone
class
else
for me.
has said that.
He was the one, I reckon, who turned my career, because he made me like that youth team manager in a trial when he went, he's fucking worked his, like, he made me feel like Martin. He came in at first, he didn't know. He came in, he was like, right, these want you, you can go. And I was like, what do you mean I can go? I was like, you've not even seen me play. You've not even seen me play. And you're going off last season because I hardly played. We got relegated. I should have been playing, but and I had it out of him a bit, and he was a bit like, so he'd
have liked that, though, I reckon.
Well, he's talked about it since on podcasts and stuff. And he said it was the first time someone had kind of gone, no, like to him, and no, you, and then so he went. The chairman had given him a list who was like surplus to requirements, and he went back and rang the chairman halfway through all these meetings and said, oi, he ain't going nowhere, by the way. He's just told me he's not, and I like him, so he's staying. And then he played me all season. I think we got to the playoffs. I ended up having an ankle operation in the March, and we just didn't get up in time. But he changed my career because he just made me feel like 10 feet tall.
But that's what a good manager is. Like we mentioned it loads of time. It's not about, obviously you got your coaches on the pitch and technical stuff like that, but you get somebody who loves you, who like believes in you and puts you on the pitch. Like, that's more than anything, isn't it?
How does it do that? How does it make you so much better though? If you feel like
no, but it's confidence. Though.
Yeah,
like,
no,
if someone says,
I just don't get
it's a mindset, innit?
It's mental. I could never get my head around it.
No, but it's like when you was at Bolton, you knew whatever you did during that week, you was that manager's guy on a Saturday.
Yeah.
So you went on there. You're never in fear of being dropped.
Yeah.
You always thought you was going to score and do well because you was at that level, and it's that mindset of that.
Yeah, but how does
it?
I just don't understand like how you can be so good with confidence and fully dog shit without it. Like,
well, you'll see
anything just bounces off you. Don't go right.
You'll see me this afternoon in the golf sim. In a golf sim, I'm a tour pro. Get on a course where people are watching me. I crumble. I can't hit a fucking thing. Yeah. It's exactly the same as football, isn't it? Yeah. Like, if you're not confident, like, you can't control the ball. When you are, you don't even control these fucking first time bang.
Yeah. No, and he was good for that, Martin Allen, and he was crackers. Like, I spoke about this before, but like, he'd do things like first round of the FA Cup away at Stalybridge Celtic. He'd go, it's going to be a tough game tomorrow, lads. It's going to be like this hedge, it's going to be like this, and he'd make us all run through the hedge. I'm talking, it was as wide from here to the curtain. And we're thinking, surely he don't mean this. And he just ran at this hedge, dived in it head first, and he didn't even make a print in it. And then he wrestled his way through all the way to the other side, and then ran round the other side of it, and his face was bleeding, scratched, and he went, come on, who's with me? Like that. Do you want to get through to the second round? It's going to be like this. So you're going to have to take some bumps and scrapes. We're like, right. So everyone just started climbing, finding little routes through his hedge, and all the staff did it first. He must have obviously worded him up that he was going to do it, and all the players had to get through it. And he'd just do mad stuff like that. on the Christmas.
He's regretted that. I'm
Oh,
sorry.
no.
When he's come round the corner.
Apparently, when he was at
Like,
Brentford, he saw the lads having a whip round if someone had like dared dive in this lake and swim across it. And he was like, "What are you doing, lads?" And he said, "Oh, we're having a whip round, Gaffer." And he just went like that. He got a tenner out of his pocket, put it in, and just ran and dived in this lake. And had a bit of a, like, more like a river, had a bit of a current to it, and he was like scrambling a bit. But he managed to get across to the other side and climb the embankment, like full of mud, and and then he just ran in his underpants all the way back to the hotel and left the lads on the walk with the staff. And then as he got back to the hotel, like there was like these 3 buses full of American tourists like checking in, and he ran in his underpants full of mud and that, trying to get, because his room key won't work and that. But he was a character, so I loved him to bits.
We have heard some stories about him, haven't they?
Yeah. What was the other one? Who told it?
I can't remember who it was. But he's known as Mad Dog, isn't it?
Yeah.
But he would, like, I'd done a couple of deals as an agent. I'd done a couple of deals with him.
Yeah.
And the player that I brought in, he made him feel like $1 million.
No, it was class.
Like, as
He's
though they were
clever
the
with it.
best thing
Do
ever.
you know when someone's like, he's playing a bit of a character when he say Mad Dog, 'cause he didn't really like that tag, but he was doing it because he was clever with it, and he knew how to, like, someone. I remember Isel McLeod having a bit of a stinker one game, and Ben Chorley was a centre half, and he turned to the bench and went like that, "Get him off," and that's a bit of a shit thing to do, isn't it, to your teammate. And we all went like that on the bench. Like, you can't be doing that.
Yeah.
Anyway, we didn't know whether the gaffer had seen it or not. And at the end of the game, he come in and he looked raging, and he started pushing his sleeves up on his shirt, and we're like, "What's going on here?" And he walked over to Ben Chorley's face and he was like, "You ever tell me to take a player off again who's your teammate, and I'll rip your fucking head off. What do you think you are, Pele?" He was like right in his face. But all the boys thought fair play, because you shouldn't really do that. Do you know what I mean?
it's
Isel
right,
used to score goals every week. He was just having a bit of a stinker. But he went, "Get him off," when he missed a chance, and we all, "Ooh," and then the gaffer and he nipped things like that in the bud. But he was very clever with the psychological side of it.
See, that's good, because that's keeping everyone
and
together,
that's what you want,
innit?
and you just want everyone to be treated the
But
same.
did the
that's
players
all.
say, like, fair enough?
Yeah, no, the lads were like, yeah, he was just like, I didn't say that. And the boys were like, "Chores, you did, mate." Like, but he was he's a good lad, Chores. He just probably
"Who's
reacted
Pele?"
on the pitch. Yeah. But no, that was, so Martin Allen, the year after that, Paul Ince took over.
Right.
And we won League 2 under.
Did you get promoted with Paul?
So Martin Allen got the Leicester job off the back of doing well at MK. Paul Ince come in, we won the league. He got the Blackburn job off the back of it. Di Matteo come in.
I was just looking there, I didn't realise you had Roberto Di Matteo.
So Di Matteo come in. I think we finished 3rd in the league, got in the playoffs, but got beat on penalties. He got the West Brom job off the back of it. So like Milton Keynes, like, it's one of them clubs in it, middle of the country.
Yeah, you do well.
And like it's been a springboard for a lot of managers. But yeah, Di Matteo, and then I think
What was the differences between obviously Paul Ince and Roberto?
So
like
I
two
think-
totally different characters.
Paul Ince was like obviously very much like good motivator, like, and because everyone respected him so much, like, 'cause he's been like Inter Milan captain, Liverpool captain, United captain, England, like, everyone just wanted to impress him. Do you know what I mean? He brought a few lads in who he'd had at Mac with him, and I think
He was still quite young then as well. It was one of his first jobs, wasn't it?
Well, I'd played against. He was still playing the season before at Swindon as a player coach under Dennis Wise, and we'd played against him, right? And we went in for I went in for a tackle with him, lifted him, right? And he reacted a bit, and then about 15 minutes later, he come through the back of me and he punched me on the back of the head as he got up, and he went 1-1 like that to me.
Did he?
So I was like, "You prick," and all that. And then like 8 months later, he was my gaffer, and I thought, is he going to remember me, like, from a little fucking Tuesday night game? And then he walked in, he was like, "Had a bit, didn't we, Albie? We had a bit," and he was sound about it.
Did he?
Yeah,
Class.
But he was good. No, he was good motivator.
Did he ever join in training?
Yeah, he joined in and he used to just smash people. And
Did
if
he?
people were on a
How good
on a Friday, like,
Why aren't you playing Saturday? Because you smashed me in training.
on a Friday, if, like, people would pull out of tackles because it's training day before a game. He hated that. He'd gone mad at the lads. He'd be like, "Fucking get through him!" Like, even the day, and the lads were like, "What?" So he'd just get lads just smashing each other. But that's the like standard he wanted, and like the aggression going into the Saturday. And he was good. It's funny though, because
But that works two ways, doesn't it? Which is great, because Monday to Friday, you're not dropping your levels, you're not dropping your intensity, so then it's easy to replicate on a Saturday.
Yeah, definitely.
But then the flip of the coin is you go in like that Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, someone's
getting injured there.
aren't
Just
they?
chill a bit.
100%. And he used to wind the lads up a little bit, because the lads were being a bit like pulling out. "All right, do you want me to not pull out then?" And he used to be like, fights kicking off every
Yeah.
left, right, and centre. But he was good though, and he was like really. But then if you ever were 1-to-1 in the office with him, he wasn't as like he was a bit like not nervous, but intimidated. Like he was in a crowd and with his staff behind him, he's very like he called himself the governor at United, and that, didn't he? But then 1-on-1. He was a bit like more, like
sheepish.
Yeah,
Couldn't talk to him
a little bit. I thought so, but I thought he was sound. He pissed me off once because he dropped me at Wembley. I was top goal scorer. We were top of the league, and he dropped me for Kev Gallen. But Kev Gallen was coming to the end of his career. Karl Robinson was good mates with Kev, and Karl Robinson was Paul Ince's assistant. And I think there was a bit of sentiment. They wanted Kev to have one last game at Wembley, but I was fuming, so I think
that means nothing to you.
No sentiment in football.
That means nothing to you.
First chance ever playing at Wembley, I had like 30 odd families spread around the ground, and then he didn't name the team. And honestly, in training that week, I was like on fire. You know, when everything you touch is just going in. And the boys I fucking love it, Albion. I was buzzing, and then he didn't name the team. And what pissed me off, him and Carl just like slipped away and left Ray Matthias, the old guy, to
the old boy,
to name the team. And he was like naming the team, and me and Mark Wright got dropped. Mark Wright was second top goal scorer. I was top goal scorer, and I was like, that is coward. Like I was fuming. I went out into the warm up, and all my family were like that, like team shit. And I was like that. I was fuming, just lashing balls about in the warm up. The head had gone.
Horrible
when I say like I was never a bad egg if I wasn't playing in that warm up at Wembley, I was raging.
Sometimes
toxic.
there's nothing you can do. Head's just gone.
And then I thought, because we were playing Grimsby, right? We'd beat them twice already that season. I'd scored against them twice. It was like, if it would have been Peterborough, one of the teams around us, I don't think he would have took the chance on weakening the I think he would have gone with a team that he was going with every week.
But then you're also thinking, it's a chance for me to score at Wembley as well.
Yeah, exactly. And it could be my last chance. So I was fuming. And I thought he'd bring me on for like half an hour, so he brought me on for like 13 minutes. It was already 2-0. We won, and it was like we'd done the trophy. It was like the JPT. Johnson's Plate Trophy thing. And then we got back to MK Stadium and he'd done like a big party for everyone. Everyone had the families there, free bar and all that. And everyone was taking the missus over to like introduce him to him and Ismi. So I just pied him all night. And then about 1:30 in the morning, he walked past the back of me and I seen him leaving. And he like tapped me and goes, "Oh, are you right?" And I was like, "Yeah." And he was like, "Oi, big game Friday, get ready." And I was like, "What, Lincoln away?" Like a bit like today was a big game.
Compared to Wembley,
Like Lincoln away. And yeah, get ready. You'll be playing, like letting me know. I'd be back in. I was thinking, not bothered, mate. And then trained all week well. I think we beat Lincoln 4-2. I scored 2. And then I stayed in the team. We won the league and I was buzzing. But I always held that little bit about I was a bit annoyed.
You should have been playing, really.
Yeah.
100%.
Years later, I end up at Palace with his son, Tom Ince. So like Tom's there with me. And this is probably 6-7 years later. And we're in the Premier League away at Newcastle. And Tony Pulis used to take the whole 25-man squad. And me and Tom had been left out, Barry Bannon and a couple of other lads. And Tom's fuming because he was trying to use Palace as a bit of a stepping stone to get a better move.
Yeah.
And Tony Pulis, he's not a Tony Pulis type player, is he, Tom Ince? So I see Tom's phone ring, says, "Dad." And I'm sat on the bench, like about 1:30, 2 o'clock before the game, the lads are getting ready. And he answers it and I can hear him go, "Fucking joke, like, not playing again, fucking joke, not even on the bench, fucking how does that look, blah, 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 blah." So I just was like, I was like, "All right, Gaffer, it's Albie." I was like, "Now you know what it feels like you did to me at Wembley." Like, "You're still holding that against me, Albie. Still holding that against me. But why is Tom not playing on?" He's like, we had a bit of a chat, but I just had a little bit of a dig. "No, you know, I felt at Wembley."
Horrible thing that, though, isn't it?
But then going on to Di Matteo, really chilled, calm, like total opposite, chalk and cheese. But in a way, you never, like with Ince, you knew where you stood. He'd tell you how it was. And with Di Matteo, you're always guessing. I don't like that, mate. You know, when you've got a manager and you like they'll say hello to you 1 minute, then you're thinking, "Oh, have I done something wrong?" He's not said. And he was very hard to read. But good, totally made us play in a different way. Like, and no, we did well again. Like I say, finished third that year, and he got a move to West Brom off the back of it. And I think the year after that, Ince came back with Carl, fell out with the chairman just to cut it short, and then left. And Carl took over, and Carl stayed there for years.
Yeah, Carl did really well there, didn't he?
Yeah.
That was where he got his chance, wasn't it?
Definitely.
Really?
And I think I was older than Carl when he got the job, and I don't think it's nice for a manager when they've got a player who's older than him. It must be a bit, especially when I've been at MK 5-6 seasons, he must be thinking, fucking like, I could be disrespectful if I wanted to be, but in that position, I never would be, because I think it's important to because in the end, I was older than 3 managers I played for: Lee Johnson at Bristol City, Brian Barry Murphy at Rochdale, but never once did I take the piss because I was older than them. And I played at a higher level than all 3 of them, but I never used that and was like, I just always made like, if they said to me, like, do this, I'd be like, yeah. Or if you want me to, like, I'd always pay like
But end
respect.
of
I
the
just
day,
think,
like, they are your boss, and
yeah,
as well, it's,
exactly.
If you disrespect them in front of your teammates, it gives them liability to do that, and you can't be seen to do that as an older pro, can you?
No, yeah. But saying that, I've never really spoke about this, and this is a little bit of a dig at Karl, but he'll take it well.
This is Robinson.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You've had him on, haven't you?
Yeah.
So he'll take it well. But I think he tried to get me out of MK because he thought, like, he said, like, I was probably one of the best paid at the time. He probably said to the chairman, like, I'd had a lot of back trouble. I was playing with back injections and stuff.
Carrying everyone, you said, yeah.
I was 31, and I think he'd said, listen, need to offload. I'll be like, let's just put his name about, see if any takers. So he got my agent at the time to tell me about, I think, and the agents can work together and stuff like that. And I think Paul Lambert at Norwich was like, 100 grand for Aaron Wilbraham. Yeah, I'll take that as a backup to Grant Holt. And they were like sixth in the championship at the time. So when Norwich come sniffing, the chairman was a bit like, Pete Wincombe, because he loved me. He loved how I was around the club and stuff. He was like, Albie, you're 31. I'm not going to stand in your way of playing in the championship. You should have been playing it, blah, blah, blah. So he was dead good about it. And he said, 100 grand ain't going to change my life, Albie, but it's good for you to go and get the chance. So I was like, thanks. But brilliant. I think Karl was like, he's done. His back's done, blah, blah, blah.
Get his wages.
Which my back wasn't, don't get me wrong. I was struggling with my back at the time. Anyway, Paul Lambert took me in. Made my debut against QPR, won, started off on the right foot with the fans and everything, and then started getting back trouble around about March.
When did you join? January the
1st made my debut.
Yeah.
So about around the start of March, literally had a game against Leicester away, and Paul Lambert went, I've rang the physio and I said, I've woke up, and my back's gone, like, I was like that, shifted to one side. So he'd come in and look at me, he was like, oh yeah, you're fucked, Albie, you can't play tonight. And I was like, yeah, you have to let the gaffer know. I'm gutted letting him down on the day, but because I really like Paul Lambert for giving me that chance and taking a gamble on me, so I was a bit like really disappointed. And he went and told the gaffer, and the gaffer pulled me. He was like, "Please, can you play Albie?" And I was like, "Gaffer," like, so I was showing him my back and that, and he was like, "I know, but I need you and Holt up front tonight with Wes Houlihan behind. So I was like, "I'll give it a go then," because I thought I will for you. Do you know what I mean? So went away to Leicester. Honestly, I was in that much pain. I looked at the scoreboard after 1 minute and was thinking 89 to go. That's how much pain I was in, honestly.
Yeah, that's not a good start.
Honestly, I was like limp, like on this, because we beat them 3-2, right? And I scored.
I seen that, yeah.
So like, but on the celebration, I'm limp. You can see I'm struggling, right? And we travelled back to Norwich, and when I got off the bus, I'm not kidding you, my back was like an S shape. It was like that. Honestly, it was horrible. And the physio went like that to the gaffer. Gaffer, as we're getting off the bus, everyone was buzzing, because it was a great win on the way to getting promoted. And the gaffer went like that in the change room. Fuck, we'd gone in for a piss or something. He went, fucking hell, I'll be like, and he was like, I'm so sorry. I was like, no, it's fine. Like, but I was in a way, he was like, the physio was like, we're going to have to go to London tomorrow. Went to London, sat opposite the surgeon like this, and the surgeon took all my scans. Honestly, I was in a bits, right? And the surgeon was like, if I had a disc bulge as big as that, I wouldn't even be able to get out of my chair. He's like, I don't know how you've got away with it. But I'd had a previous operation at Stockport in 2002. This was 2011. He said, I think the previous op has created a bit of room, so the disc is the nerves away from the bulge a little bit. Right. He goes, we're going to have to operate like today, tomorrow, whenever I can fit you in. Just stay down in London.
So you had a
I had a knockdown there, and to be fair, touch wood, like from that up, they put a spacer in my spine. Like they'd only put about 5,000 at the time in Europe, having good results. They put a spacer in to stop my disc getting compressed, and touch wood since then, I've had no trouble with it.
Went from 6'1" to 6'3".
I know, yeah, it's give you
I played till 40, probably because of that backup. I'm like,
you must be glad that you played in that game, even though you were in so much pain because you scored.
Yeah, no, definitely. And he always said to me, Lambert, I'll never forget what he did for me at Leicester, because obviously getting promoted to the Premier League for Norwich was massive.
Yeah.
And then I thought, right, I've had an up now, my season's done. I was like, and I knew my money had doubled going from MK to Norwich, and if we got promoted, it doubled again. And I'd never earned that type of money, right?
Well, I was gonna ask about that. Did you see a big difference? Obviously, like when you go into Norwich and then you get promoted to the Premier League, in terms of who's in the dressing room, the wages that are flying around? Because I know you played champ, but it's another big jump as well, isn't it?
I think the thing with Norwich that season, it was a lot of down-to-earth League One and Championship lads. You had the likes of like Russell Martin, Elliot Bennett, Anthony Pilkington.
I used to play against Bennett when he was at Wolves as a kid, and he was unbelievable.
Yeah, great lad.
Was at Blackburn Rovers for ages.
Yeah, and I played him at Bristol City, and I've managed him at Shrewsbury more recently, but It was just a down. So it wasn't like me going and signing for like Chelsea or something. I mean, we were just a bunch of young, hungry lads, and we went up. And we finished 11th in the Prem, which was, I remember starting a game at Tottenham away, and it was it was an all-British starting 11, which is the first time it had happened in the Prem since Blackburn in the 90s. And it was an all-British starting 11, and they had Gareth Bale, Modric, Adebayor, like Champions League spots, and we beat them 2-1. Pilk scored, Benno scored. And we beat them 2-1 at White Hart Lane. We absolutely, Van der Vaart played. I clashed head with Van der Vaart. I had stitches in their dressing room after the game. And we were in like in the doctor's bit. And they all came in, and Harry Redknapp was going, getting beat by that load of shit. He didn't know I was in there. I had a big cut like that, and I was in. And William Gallas was in a suit. He mustn't have been playing, and he was going, "Oh, that's a good one," like in his French. "Oh yeah, good. I've got a few of them," and all. And we were having a bit of a chat, but he was going, "Oh," because the gaffer was talking.
Yeah.
And he was ripping into him. And as I walked through, they all just had like bags of ice everywhere. All these
just
like
battered
we
them.
just battered them. And then I walked back into the Norwich change room, and I was like, "Yes, no," because big bandage on it and all that. That was class.
Terry Butcher style.
Yeah.
How did you feel when he was saying, Alva's been beat to this shit?
Well, listen what he said on Match of the Day. He said Holt and the other lad bullied us. We couldn't handle Holt and the other lad. He called me the other. All my mates are texting me. "You're the other lad."
I didn't even know you.
He didn't know my name, so that was
Will Abraham.
I watch Match of the Day, mate. But no, like it was. To be fair, going back to so once we got promoted and I had a backup, I'm thinking these are going to spend some money now to try and stay in the Prem.
Yeah.
I was probably third choice striker as it was. They're going to sign players, and I'm probably going to go down to about 8th or 9th. So I just worked all off season, thinking I know I'm not in the gaffer's plans. Even though I did that at Leicester for him, and all football works. And if I don't have a really good off season now and hit the ground running pre-season, like I'll let all the other lads celebrate all summer from getting promoted. I'm getting on it. So I just recovered from my op, trained all summer, and then pre-season I was.
Did you not even go away on
promotion
party?
So we went to Vegas, to be fair. That was class. Yeah, we had a full week of party, and it was open top.
Vegas is a different league, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
You just
class.
didn't carry it on like the others. Like,
I
you
just,
can carry it on, can't you?
After the trip, went away to Mrs. But I just trained every day. I was honestly on it. And then pre-season, I scored 8 goals. I was leading goal scorer pre-season. I'm thinking, surely the gaffer's going to have me involved in the 25-man squad. And then he did. And to be fair to him, he involved me in like 32 out of the 38 Prem games, like in the squad for 30. And like, it was class. I only started a couple of games at Tottenham away when I started against. It was the Aguero season when Aguero scored the goal.
Everton,
yeah. So and I was on.
That must have been some buzz. That.
Oh, it was class because as a 0.002
no one
English lads get to play. Yeah. So and I remember Mark Turney looking at me when I came back in after the game, and he went tick as if to say another one tick. And and I was on 99 goals when I got to the Prem, and I managed to score my 100th career goal, and I only scored one.
That's
my 100th career goal in the Prem.
God, who was that against?
Fulham away.
Right.
Craven
Cottage.
So and that's a lovely ground and a good old Prem ground to score at. So I was buzzing about that, and it was just for me. Played League One, League Two, Championship, bit of Champion, not a lot of Championship. It was like I to get to the Prem at the age of 31 when you usually think your career is going to start doing that, and I went a little bit like that, and he knew he could put me on in them 32 games, involve me in, and I would run around and fight like fuck for everything. And you're playing against lads who are on 200 grand a week. And they don't want to get a cut eye. They're a bit like, they want to go home to the missus and kids and just be a millionaire. And I was just running around like, and again,
like going back to the private school.
And going back to the youth team manager saying, some of you, Paul Lambert actually said, some of you have got big time. You've got your bellies full. You've got big time. You want to look at Wilbraham, runs around like a 4-year-old. And again, I was getting that said about me at 31, what I got said about me at Stockport on trial at 16. So I think I just always had that bit of fight. And although, don't get me wrong, these lads who don't get the luck can get to do that. And I know it's based on a little bit of luck as well, but I feel like I deserved it because I'd worked hard and, do you know what I mean, and plugged away. And then I just think like I forced myself into that Norwich setup when I was probably going to be nowhere near it. And
but just having that mentality, like for me, the biggest thing about that, yes, there's a bit of luck, but you create your own luck. So you come back after you're up, you celebrate for a week, but then your mentality is thinking, I really need to step up and get 100% fit to give myself any chance. A lot of people would have gone, I fucking no chance next season.
Yeah.
I'll keep myself fit. I'll enjoy what I've got now.
Yeah.
And then next season I'll probably move on.
Yeah.
But you didn't. You went the other way, and that shows the mentality as well.
Yeah, no, I think I did have that kind of strong mentality going into that, and I think come the end of the Prem season, we finished 11th, so it was a great finish for Norwich. Paul Lambert got the Villa job off the back of it, and I was gutted because I knew, he used to say to me, "You're the best pound for pound striker ever," but because like he only paid a bit of money for me, but I give him everything, and he used to say,
"Is that a good
me.
finger about me?"
But like he got the Villa job, and I was thinking like, he ain't going to take me to Villa as his star signing, Aaron William Abraham. So like, he ain't going to take me there, but I'm gutted because he definitely would have given me another year at Norwich on the same money, and so. He pulled me in and he went, "Albie, I feel like I'm stitching you up a bit." And why? He said, "Because you're out of contract. All the other lads have either got another year or they've already signed a club somewhere else."
Gaffer sign me on another year before you go.
No, he said the board won't do it. He said, "You're nearly 33. He said, and he'd fell out of him a bit because they didn't want him to leave. He was like a hero there, so he couldn't go and ask for a new. They'd be like, "Fuck off." So I was gutted. And I said to the missus, like, probably going to have to drop down to League One now, like, it is what it is, like, but I've had a good
You're going to have to
couple
swap
of
the
years.
range, love.
Yeah, you have to get back to work, love. So, like, no, so I was thinking, I've had a good couple of years, is what it is. And then my agent at the time was like, "Oh, I've got Palace and Brighton interested." So they were both in the Championship and they hate each other, don't they, Brighton and Palace? So Dougie Freedman was the Palace manager, Gus Poyet was the Brighton manager. So I met Gus Poyet on the Tuesday and I met Dougie Freedman on the Wednesday.
Right, so just thinking outside the box, do you think he's spoken to Roberto Di Matteo?
Definitely, yeah.
Must have done.
Yeah.
Gus Poyet.
Gus Poyet, because they played together.
He fucking clueless.
They played together
They
at
played
Chelsea.
together at
but-
Chelsea. So there's a spoke and
Well, this is the other thing where I
That
don't
was ages
know.
ago, though, wasn't it?
yeah, but managers, teammates for like right.
Yeah,
we
yeah,
like
keep
this. Like,
in
what do you
touch.
think?
What's he like?
Yeah.
And I think this is the other reason where I don't know whether Karl, because the first thing Gus Poyet said to me across the table was, "What is wrong with your back?" And I went, and I was thinking,
Where's he heard that from?
Has Karl gone to the chairman? He's done. Need to get rid.
Yeah.
I've gone bang to Norwich, had a promotion. Chairman's thinking, fucking hell. Then I've been involved all year in the Prem. Does he then want me to get another good mood of how it looks to the chairman, right?
Yeah.
And I did hear that Karl wasn't very complimentary about my back, right? So I spent half an hour arguing with Gus Poyet that my back's now all right and I worked really hard and blah, blah, and it's fixed. But I could see he wasn't sure, right? Then I met Dougie Freeman. He was a total opposite. And he actually said something, which is quite funny, and I've never let this out, so this is a first. He said, "I've spoke to Carl Capello about your back, about your fitness and your back, but I'm not really interested in what he's got to say. I've spoke to
Carl
Paul
Capello.
Right? He went, "I've spoke to Paul Lambert about how you've been at Norwich for the last 2 years, and that's all I'm interested in."
Well, that's all that should
And
tell
I
you.
thought- And then I thought at that time, pissed me off a bit because I was dead respectful with Karl when he was the manager.
Yeah.
I never badmouthed him and stuff. And he's, because of his own, how it's going to look to his chairman, which is fair enough, he's like, he didn't need to go to people. Like, he's gone to Gus Poyet, obviously, because Gus Poyet didn't confirm it, but Dougie did the next day. He's gone, two director of footballs, whatever, have rang him as a reference. And he said that both times. I wouldn't do that for a lad who'd done well for me, who hadn't really had the chance of playing at a high level. So it annoyed me a bit. And I've never had it out with Karl, and I've seen him since, and he'll probably pull me on it now.
Yeah.
And I like Karl, he was sound with me, but I didn't like that he did that. And I ended up, because Dougie Freeman was better in the meeting, I'm more like, I'm not bothered about that.
Yeah, no concerns.
I was like,
you.
I want to come, and they gave me a bit more money. Like, so they were second favourites to go down in the Championship. Brighton were one of the favourites, big club, better training ground, better everything.
Yeah.
But I just like what Dougie Freeman said. Went there, second favourites to get relegated, ended up getting promoted.
Yeah,
There was
promoted,
some players in there, weren't there? Zaha.
Yeah.
So
Bolasie,
is
was
that two
it?
promotions to the Prem?
Yeah, in this when I'm thinking I'm going to do that,
Yeah.
I'm like thinking end of the world. 'cause
After
Lambert's-
surgery on your back?
Yeah.
And after being
Yeah.
31?
2 surgeries on my back, but yeah, and like Lambert's gone Villa, I'm
Carl was
thinking
right
end of the
there,
world.
weren't he? He blagged it.
But no, so then, and obviously
Carl got the news.
I didn't.
Aaron's having an up on his back. Yes, I knew it. I told
you.
them.
No, he would have been like, told you that first time, yeah. But then, no, to be fair, like, I didn't play a lot at Palace that season. Glenn Murray was on fire playing, and they only played one up front with Bolasie and Zaha, like you say, either side. And
Who was better out of them two?
Both different.
Yeah, they was
both
both
very different.
unbelievable.
Both good, yeah. you couldn't coach what any of them had. You can coach like little technique, but they had like, people used to think it was luck when they'd bobble against someone and come back. They were already like, they was just unbelievable.
He used to sweep the floor and stuff, Bolasie, didn't he?
Yeah, he used to do all that, yeah.
He used to stand on the ball with his feet and then he'd like sweep the floor behind the ball.
He'd brush the floor with his hand and then
just
try and throw people. But no, they were both great lads as well, like top lads. And it was a bit frustrating sometimes as a striker because sometimes it looked like they didn't know what they were doing, and it'd be that many step overs. You're like, when is the ball in the box?
When do I make my run?
But as they got older, I'd say they both got better at the decision making, their end product, because they were still both young then. But Glenn Murray scored like 32 goals that season, so it was just one of them on the bench being his backup, which I accept. He was on fire, and we were doing well in the playoffs all season. And then he done his cruciate in the first playoff game against Brighton. So ironic that we're playing Brighton, who I've said no to at the start of the season. I come on after 20 minutes.
Was Gus still the manager?
He was still the manager. So I come on after 25 minutes. We draw 0-0 at home, and then we go to their place for the second leg, and they beat us 3-0 in the season. So everyone's thinking they're going to smash us, and we beat them 2-0. Wolf scored 2, get to Wembley.
And you played the whole, you started, didn't you? Play the whole 120 minutes?
Yeah. I felt like I kept it in the corner for the last 15 minutes of extra time.
Did
the
you?
Watford fans must have hated me because they just wanted it down the other end. We were 1-0 up. Kev Phillips come on and scored a penalty in extra time, and I was just like holding people, just wrestling in the corner for 15 minutes. But we got the job done. And like, to be fair to Palace, they've stayed up since. So they've been up. It was a 10-year anniversary in May. The chairman got all the old team back.
Right. They've never been back down.
2013 to 2023. So in May 23, just gone. The chairman invited us all back down. All the old team. Wilf was there. Mile Jedinek, everyone. And
you just had to hold it in the corner in the dining room.
Jedinek.
But yeah, class lad. He's assistant at Tottenham now.
Yeah.
And like Paddy McCarthy was there as assistant at Palace. All done really well, but it was good of Steve Parish to do that, got all the boys back down to it. It was like Bluebird Cafe in Chelsea. It was meant like everything, like paid for all night. It was class. Everyone took the misses and that. It was just good to catch up, and it was nice for clubs to do stuff like that. And like you say,
nice to be remembered in such a good way, innit?
But to get another season, now I was 34, to get another season in the Prem was like.
I wanted to ask you. Yeah. I wanted to go back.
Grant Holt.
Yeah.
He just reminded me then when you said wrestle.
He went into being a wrestler after. Was there any sign of that when
I had?
Well, he was a beast, weren't he?
Yeah. Oh yeah, he was
guy.
But still.
Yeah, I'm not saying.
Holt was funny, like
when he scored though, he did. He had a WrestleMania vest on.
But I never knew he was going to do that. We were all the lads were like, "What's going on here?" Like, but Holt was a class lad to be fair. He had that kind of, because he'd come up from lower league.
Yeah.
Like, I remember we played Man United.
Played non-league, hadn't he?
Yeah,
he played non-league.
So, but we played Man United on Sky, 12:30 kickoff, right, for Norwich, and he sat next to me in the changing room. And we would have had to be in for like 10 o'clock or 10:30, whatever, 11 o'clock, and he was like, knackered me, mate. And he was starting. I was like, "Wow, what's up with you?" He said, "Oh, I drove Faye and the kids back to Carlisle yesterday." I said, "What are you doing that for, day for a game?" He went, "Well, I've got 3 little girls, mate, and one's newborn. I can't let her do it on her own, and she needs to get back for the weekend." And I was like, "Surely she'll be all right, like driving herself." He's like, "No, I had to do it." So I said, "So what did you do again?" Set off about 5 p.m. last night, got there at 11ish, but then I was too tired to turn back round, so I set off about 4 this morning. I was like, "We're playing Man United," and then he scored.
Did he?
Scored against United on Sky, but that's what he could do. That he could eat what he wanted. He could eat.
Yeah.
You know, when you talk about mental confidence, if the manager, he had so much confidence. Like the physio made him sign a disclaimer once because the physio was saying your knee's not right, and he was going, "My knee's right, I'm playing." He was like, "No, you're not." And then the physio got all panicky about his job and went, "Sign this disclaimer then to say if you play when I've told you not to and get injured, it's not on me."
Not a problem.
No problem. And then that night he played, won 2-0. He scored both goals and he ran over to the bench. But he was mentally strong, Holty, like very mentally strong.
He'll need to be off them top ropes, isn't he?
But no, going back to Paul Lambert, there's a couple of funny stories actually. So Mark Tierney, if you come across Mark Tierney, left back, bald head, he was a good lad. He was a funny lad, right? And we pre-season of that Premier League, we went away to Germany, and the gaffer says on the last night we always have a barbecue, the boys have a night out, and there's 2 rules, like don't get arrested and make sure you're on time the next day, right? So we all went out in Germany, and
I love that.
Don't get arrested.
So I'd lent Zach Whitbread a shirt because he didn't have any going out gear, right? And I had a couple of shirts with me, so I'd lent Zach a shirt, right? And we're in this club, and I just see Wes Houlihan walk up to Zach and fucking rip his buttons open, and all the buttons ping off, and it rips. And I'm like, that's my shirt, you prick. And I'm looking across thinking, fucking hell, Wes. And then as I'm turning, like, he comes over to me and does mine as well. So I'm like, what are you doing? Like, so I had a bit of a snap because I think he'd done 2 shirts in the space of 10 seconds. So T calms me down and goes, oh, come on, Albie, come on. We'll go and get some food. And I don't ever leave early.
That's
like,
2 shirts. That's 24 quid done there.
Nice jumper, mate.
You was going to do the big time shout there, weren't you?
How bad's that jumper I said it before?
Prime on in this.
I like it, mate.
Go on anyway.
So, like, anyway, T takes me off, and I'm usually at the end of the night, I don't let the night end, I'm there till the end. And T takes me off some food, and we go back. What a decision that was, by the way. I get down to breakfast the next morning. 6 of the lads look like I'd been arrested.
Oh,
so
no.
they've come out or something. And one of the lads that as I'm having a piss, and he's just like, there's a German guy next to him having a piss, and he's just like pissed on his leg a bit. Right? I'm not going to name who it was, right? So it's all gone off, and then the German police have just kind of stitched our boys up and just arrested them, and they've demanded the passport. So at 3-4 in the morning, they're ringing the hotel like, we need the lad's passport. So that the hotel have just rang the manager, like woke the gaffer up at 3-4 in the morning, saying we need the lad's passports, like we need to get in the rooms. And so like,
are you guys in the Premier League at the minute?
So we've just been promoted there, right? So
you know you'd be in that as well.
Yeah.
If you were still out,
100%.
Yeah, you're in the middle of the melee.
The rip shirt's done me a massive favour. So like I'm like, it's a good one to escape, right? So we get on the bus and everyone's talking about it. Everyone's back, like they've let them go. They've realised that it's not like just a little scuffle or whatever.
Yeah.
But it's the fact that the gaffer always says, "Don't get arrested, don't be late." We were late setting off because of all the commotion. And he's at the front of the bus. I got on the bus, I could see he was boiling his face, just like, and he was class Paul Lambert, dead good with a banter and stuff, but he was fuming. So I get to the back of the bus and all the boys are like laughing, but because you're all still a bit pissed, the lads are getting louder and louder and laughing a bit, and I'm like, shut up. I could see from behind him, his face was getting fucking angrier, and I'm like, lads, and then all of a sudden, he burst to the back of the bus and he went, "Oh, you cunts." He went, "If this comes out back home, or if anything gets back to the club, I tell you what, you can all fuck off." He was like, "You've let me down, you've let the club down, you've let your families down." Like, he went mad, right? And as he walked off, Mark Tierney goes, "That reminds me of the inflatable boy." He went to his inflatable school and he stabbed all his inflatable classmates, and then he stabbed his inflatable teacher. And then he come home and he stabbed his inflatable mum and dad, and then he stabbed himself. And when the inflatable police come round, they said, "Not only have you let your school down, you've let your classmates down." But when you try not to laugh, when he's just gone back down the other bus, and I'm like, T, and everyone is like biting the back of the chairs and stuff.
Trying not to laugh.
And T was just so quick because the gaffer had gone, "You let this down, you let that." He just come up with that straight away, and he
just met it up.
Yeah. And then we got back, nothing come out or anything. To be fair, it was nothing anyway. But then we were playing like a Spanish team pre-season, and the floodlights went at half time. So all the fans were, "Hey, I'm doing all this" at Norwich, and big crowd there. So Mark Tierney, we just sat on the bench. We were the subs, we'd stayed on the bench. And Mark Tierney just went, "Shall I just go and do some cartwheels across the pitch?" So he just
in the dark?
Yeah. But like there was a few lights on so you could see it.
Yeah.
So he just ran out because he was doing them when we got promoted a couple of months earlier, and the fans were loving it. So we went out. So every cartwheel, "Hey, hey," and he'd done them all the way across the pitch, all the way back. And then we've ended up getting beat by the Spanish team. And Paul Lambert's come in the next day and goes, "Oi," like in front of everyone, "You see Ryan Giggs doing that? We're in the fucking Premier League now. We're fucking cartwheels across the pitch." But T was just so funny with stuff like that. Like he'd just think of something and just do it. Do you know what I mean? And it was a class lad. But no, there's a few funny stories that pre-season trip, like, because obviously how it looks and stuff, the manager wants it to be professional.
I love hearing stories like that because you only really think of that behaviour at lower league level, don't you?
Exactly.
All footballers are the same.
Yeah.
I don't care if you're on 100 grand a week or 100 quid a week. Yeah. You just...
It was
lads
class.
are lads, aren't they?
He'd done another thing, Mark Tierney. So like, do you know when you get the yellow bib on a Friday if you're the worst player and everyone like?
Yeah.
He bought an old Porsche.
Jordan thought that was his strip.
He bought an old Porsche T, like battered old Porsche.
Yeah.
And he said like, he got this group insurance on it so that all the lads could drive it. And he said whoever's the worst player on a Friday has to drive the Porsche home from training. It rattled and everything. And then drive it to the game on a match day the next day. So we did it every home game, every Friday home game. But you had to add something to the Porsche, so like fluffy dice or boombox in the back and that. So every week it was class. And that's Mark Taney to a T. Like he was good. He was good for like.
I've heard a similar story to that before, but it was on a really shitty like a Fiat Uno, and someone put like a $5,000 sound system in the back of it. You know, like add something every week. Yeah,
that's what was happening. It was class, like new seat covers and all that. But no, it was good. It was good.
Fluffy dice.
Rubber duck in.
How many times do you get that?
Never, mate.
Never.
I wouldn't have fit in anyway. I don't think.
Right, wait. Sorry,
right, so
bursting for a piss.
God, Crystal Palace.
Bristol Cities.
Yeah, Crystal Palace though. Who were your managers while you were there at Crystal Palace?
So Dougie Freeman signed me, and then
did you have Holloway? Did you mention then?
So Dougie Freeman signed me, and then Holloway took over. Dougie went to Bolton, left before the playoff final,
right?
And all the fans were singing, "Oh, Dougie Freeman, what have you done?" Because they were going up and up. Carried on the run that he'd set off, but I think he thought, right, they've gone far enough. I'm gonna jump shit and do something with Bolton. And then Holloway took us, and we got through. And then Holloway.
What's Holloway like? Because he seems class as a mad manager.
No, he was class. Really like energetic, like every day come in like buzzing, enthusiasm. No, he was class, but like so different to Dougie Freeman. Dougie Freeman was another one of them, like you never really knew where you stood with him, but like
because he's back at Palace now.
Director of football. I see Dougie all the time. He's a good guy too. He was at the thing in May as well at Palace, but Holloway took over, and he was like just dead energetic. But he'd watch Bayern Munich on the Tuesday night, come in training Thursday, like, right, we're going to defend like Bayern Munich, like we're going to, and then he'd watch like Barcelona the next Tuesday, then he'd watch the expansive like
we're going to play like Barcelona.
And he loved the meeting, there was loads of meetings, but no, he was a good,
Why do gaffers love meetings? There's like, they have meetings about meetings.
It's their chance in the spotlight though, isn't it?
Fuck off with these meetings, will you?
So, he loved the meeting, to be fair. And then after, he got sacked in the October, but he pissed me off a little bit, Holloway, because obviously I played the 120 minutes at Wembley, and then I started the first Prem game of the season against Tottenham on Sky. We drew 0-0, and then I think I played against Sunderland. We won 3-1. I came off the bench, and then he had to name the 25-man squad, and I went away to Brighton with the missus and the little one for a couple of days because we all had a couple of days off because they were signing a load of players, and he rang me to say I'd be left out the 25-man squad, and I was like, I've played the first two games, like, but the chairman signed 17 players, Albie. It's not me. We've signed 17 players. You would have seen. I said, I have seen them, but I didn't think. I've just played 120 minutes at like Wembley. Like, you're just leaving me out of the squad. So he was like, yeah. So I had like that year left. So I'd have stayed in London. My little one was in school. I was like, right. They tried to get me to go on loan to Blackburn, but I needed a hip operation. And to be fair, I would have thought to play in the Prem again for another season. I would have got on with it and let it niggle away. But I thought, no. Said to the physio, we're still going down to see that surgeon, aren't we? Now I've been left out of the squad. And he was like, yeah, of course we are. Why? What makes you think to say that? I said, well, now like they're trying to get me to go on loan and it's niggling away.
Yeah, might as well fix me hip.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking I'm going to be right by January to go. So we went down to see this surgeon, and he sat in the room and he was like, yeah, looking at this, you've got a labral tear, you need that bit shaving, you definitely need an op. When's your next game? So I went January. It was only like August, September. And he went, oh, January. I said, yeah, I'm not in the squad, so I can't. And the physio was like, oh, we'll have to okay that with the club. I said, what do you mean we'll have to okay with the club? I was like, you've got a duty of care to me. I've got a surgeon sat there saying my hip needs fixing. What do you need to okay with the club? You're the physio.
But would you have played resis at most? Or
no, but it was like, so they'd have wanted to recoup some of your wages.
Yeah, they wanted me to go to Blackburn. Like, so I was like, so then I come out the room. Oh no, I said to the physio, like, what are you talking about? He goes, yeah, but Albie, I know the club want you to go on loan. I said, I'm not going on loan. Like, my little one's in school and that, and I'm not doing that. I played under 20 minutes at Wembley. I thought I was going to be involved. I'm not going on loan, so you don't need to worry about that. But my op in, he was like dead panicking. Yeah. I just know how it's going to go down at the club. So I was like, what do you mean? So anyway, I met my missus after it for a coffee in London, and my phone started ringing. My agent rang me, and he was like, I've just had the chairman on calling you a disgrace. I want your player gone immediately as a disgrace. And I was like, fucking disgrace. I just played 120 minutes at Wembley for him 2 months ago to get him 120 mil. I was like, what's he mean?
And now I'm out the squad.
And he went, no. He thinks he wanted you on loan, and he's saying you would have carried on if you were in the squad. But because I said, yeah, but Like, it does need doing. I've had a surgeon tell me that. So it caused a bit of friction. But I was annoyed, like, at being called a disgrace, your players. Because even though I'd been left out of the squad for that last 2 weeks, we signed like Marion Shamak and loads of new players. And I was like telling them where to take the kids to school, telling them where to live, like really, rather than just like fucking took my place, being a knobhead. I was like helping the boys settle in. And when I'm getting called a disgrace off the chairman, I've just played 120 minutes for at Wembley a couple of months earlier. I'm like, hold on a minute. I was raging. So like Mile Jedinek and Paddy McCarthy were like, keep your head, Albie, we'll speak to the gaffer. So they took me to the gaffer and they were like, Gaffer, Albie's raging. Chairman's caught. And he was like, wow, listen, you've been caught in the crossfire. They fell out over something else. You've been caught in the crossfire. It's nothing to do with what you've done. The chairman thought you were going on loan. If your hip needs doing, you'll get it done. I was like, right. And then he booked me in, got it done. To be fair, the chairman come to the training ground and was like, listen, it was crosswise we raging. He was like, but I bet he don't tell you everything that I say. You know, as if to say, like, letting me know.
Yeah.
There's a little bit of thing there. And I was like, no, it's fine, Chairman. I said, but I didn't want to be falling out with you and we just had a successful time and he was fine. And he was like, what's your plan now? I said, get my hip right by January and go on loan in January with a view to earning a contract somewhere with a hip that's in decent condition. And he was like, right, okay, I don't mind paying your wages till then. I was thinking, well, you've got to pay them till then. So I was like, all right.
Nice.
And then, but then to be fair, and then Holloway got sacked on my birthday. And I wasn't glad, but I was a bit like, you should have stood up for the boys a bit more, because like they had a bit of a stink and he should have stood up for the lads, but he bombed about 6 of us out of his squad who helped him get up the year before. And I was a bit like, well, it's justice in a way, Gaffer, like seeing a bit kind of, and he got sacked on my birthday and I was a bit like, right, in October. And then Pulis took over and I was just obviously in the gym recovering, doing rehab. And then he'd come in every day after training, come in and do a bike session, get a sweat. And he's like, whose tunes are these? And I was like, mine, Gaffer. He's like, fucking love it and all that. Like, so like, started and then he seen me do my rehab and he'd stand and watch. And then the physios would come in and go, oh, Gaffer was buzzing off you there, Albie, and all that. So I was thinking, all right. And then it got to January and he just pulled me and said, listen, I've been watching you working hard, Albie. Everyone at the club loves you. He's like, I'm going to put you back in the squad in January. So I ended up staying.
Right.
He didn't play me a lot, but he kept me involved.
It was another 6 months in the Prem.
Yeah, exactly. So I was happy that it worked out like that. My hip felt fine. So I just used it to my advantage to keep myself fit, thinking I'm definitely leaving in the summer. It is what it is. But I was still getting brought on for games and involved in a few. So.
And how old are you now? 35-ish?
34. Yeah, turning 35 the next October. So.
Right.
And then I literally, end of the season, I did get released like I did think I would. And my agent had Coventry and Birmingham interested, met Lee Clark at Birmingham's training ground, seemed a bit of an odd character, didn't really look at me once in the meeting, just kept speaking to my agent and we left and I was like, that was weird.
That was weird.
And then I went
Who's that?
Lee Clark. Yeah. And then I went to Coventry for talks with Stephen Presley. He seemed sound, to be fair, but they were in administration and they were trying to get the wages up to what my agent was asking for and he's saying they might struggle. So I didn't really have anything, if I'm honest. And then I went to Dubai on holiday with Mrs. and I seen Steve Cotterill. I knew he was a Bristol City manager because my mate Sam Baldock played for him at the time. So I just walked past him and like shook his hand.
Had you banged out a few press-ups first before you...
To be fair, I'd seen him in the gym a couple of times. So I just walked past him in the lounge and I shook his hand and said, hi, Steve. And he's like, hi, big man, you're all right? I was like, yeah. And that was it. And then I kept seeing him in the gym and he told me at a later date that he was going checking the hotel book to see if I was signing in every day. Like, so every day
you do your gym work?
Yeah. He was like, I wonder if he works hard, wonder what type of pro he is. And like my missus was offering me a Corona around the pool. And I was like, no, don't give me that yet. It's too early. Like
playing the game. It's like that again though, that's brilliant because like lads who don't have that mentality might not have got that move. You know, like same as we talked about the pre-season where you've come back from Europe and you've worked hard.
Yeah.
Same again, go on holiday and like we know people who go on holiday and will not go to a gym. Might do a little bit.
Yeah. No, I'd have fucked the gym off and I'd have a full table of empty Coronas.
That's what I mean. So like you would never, like that move might not have ever come.
As much like, don't get me wrong, I loved it. Well, for my whole career, there'll be lads who'll tell you who I played with that I loved the night out, but I did do it right at the right times. I wouldn't be out at the wrong time. It was work hard, play hard.
Unless there was a karaoke on.
Yeah, mistake. But no, to be fair, so the gaff, I got chatting to him a little bit, and he said, "So what have you got on the table at the moment?" So I said, "Oh, I've got 2 years off Coventry, 2 years off Birmingham," and he was like, "Will you come down?"
Total lie.
Well, he was like,
Steve Clark didn't look at me, and they ain't got any money.
He was like, well, will you come down to Bristol and have a chat with us? And I said, yeah. And he said, but I'll let you know now, they'll only give you a year because they've been burnt in the past by older players coming and picking up the money and getting injured for 2 years. So it'll be a year with a view to getting another year. So I said, yeah. So I went down, got on dead well with him. He said, don't bring your agent, I don't get on with him. Come on your own, you're a big boy. So I was like, right, okay. So I walked in the meeting, met him in Keith Burt, director of football, and then just kind of thrashed it out. And then it was like 26 appearances, any competition, even if you come off the bench. And I think I did it by like December 7th, the day of our Christmas do. So all the lads
So you got an extension
another year.
anyway.
That took me to 36. And then the following pre-season, even though we'd got up, we won the league, we won League One. He said to me when I signed for him, "You ever scored 20 goals in a season?" I said, "No, I've scored 70, I scored 18 one year." He was like, "You'll score them this year." I was like, "Right, okay." Scored 21 that year.
Did you?
The year I did it, yeah. He was good,
At
like
35
yeah, 35
in League One.
Yeah,
Class.
Brilliant.
and we got
that.
promoted, and we won the JPT as well, so I got another chance to play. I'd obviously went Wembley after the Wembley story with Paul Ince.
Is this the one
I got it
where?
back.
No, this is the. I can't remember. There's one where it might have been earlier. Did you scored a hat trick?
Not
You scored a hat trick, and Damien Spencer scored a hat
that
trick.
was for MK Dons, yeah.
Was that we missed that
5-3
bit? That
away
was
at Cheltenham.
5-3.
Yeah.
You both scored a hat trick.
I got the ball
Who got-
because I did it first.
Yeah, here's how it
I
is.
think we both got
I
one.
was just gonna, yeah.
Loads of multi-ball in it, so
Yeah, but you're fuming though, aren't
Yeah,
you? Like
yeah.
you've scored a hat trick and some
It's
other.
the only hat trick I scored that as well, you know.
Yeah.
I scored loads of braces, but it's the only
So
hat trick
you
I
won
scored.
with a hat trick.
Yeah,
and he got
5-3
beat
they
with a
won.
hat
Yeah,
trick.
you got beat. You'd be fuming if you got beat with it, wouldn't
Yeah.
you?
He wouldn't. He would not be arsed on it.
Hat trick.
But no, so going back to that, yeah, so I scored 21 goals, won the league, won that Johnson's Pay, and then the following pre-season he gave me a new deal, better money, appearance thing was in there again, but it all had to be league games, managed to do that again.
Back in
So
the
I had-
championship.
Yeah, back in the championship, then
How many promotions is that now?
5. Yeah,
It's good, that.
got a good little stat here for you boys.
Go
I'm
on.
not trying to blow my own trumpet. I had 8 clubs, I got promoted with 5 of them. The 3 I didn't get promoted with all got relegated the season after I left them.
Is
Not
there?
saying I was the glue in the
Not
jar.
saying, yeah, not saying it was down to me.
But
but
No, so then I loved it down at Bristol. Great set of lads. Like when you talk about Vegas, I went Vegas when I say like I enjoyed myself as well as I had a good attitude. I went Vegas 14 years on the bounce.
Did you ever see,
14 years on the bounce.
Saying that, broke actually around that playoff final. That's the only year I missed it. So 14 years around either side of that playoff.
did you ever see Tom Kennedy there? Because he goes on about it all the time.
I think I've seen Teak. I don't remember us seeing that, to be honest. That happened in Vegas, stays in Vegas.
Yeah.
No, but the Bristol City group that we had, because we had like Luke Ayling, who's just left Leeds to go to Middlesbrough.
It's a great little club down there.
Joe Bryan, Bobby Reid, who's playing every week now at Fulham, Aidan Flint, Marlon Palau.
Bobby Reid,
we had
class.
a great set of lads. And we were known for being out we were out in Newcastle one weekend, out in London the next. We were known for being out, but we're top of the league all season. I remember some like Polish bouncer saying to us in Bristol, "Fucking hell, you lot think you've won the league already? It's only September." I was like, fucking went back in April, like, won it now, you. Yeah, but like people knowing people are giving you stick. But we did love a night out, and I remember when Steve Cotterill got sacked the following season, all lads were gutted because we felt like we'd not done well for him.
Yeah.
Lee Johnson took over, and we went on a bit of a bad run to Lee Johnson. Lee Johnson went, "When's the last time you lot went out together?" And we went, "We haven't been out this season." He went, "Exactly. How many times you got last season when you won the league?" And we went, "Every week." He went, "Fucking do it then."
Get yourself
Like,
out
right,
there.
okay.
Sorted.
Cheers, Gaffer.
But yeah, it is a big part of it, isn't it? Like, you know,
Yeah.
the team
Of course it is,
spirit,
yeah.
and like it, especially with like new lads who come to the team who you think are quiet, and then they have a drink, and it's like, "Fucking hell, he's a cannon," and then
Yeah.
they're a bit more comfortable the next time you come in for training a few days later, aren't they? So I loved that side of it, to be fair. But yeah, Steve Cotterill was class.
It's hard to get that bonding though if you don't have them outside of football stuff together.
Definitely, yeah.
We did it this season. We didn't win a game pre-season, first 6 games.
Yeah.
And then we had to go. We went Blackpool for a trip. We were playing against Bolton Wanderers or something they were called. They were shite.
Bolton
Bolton Wanderers. But the night before, we'd gone for a meal.
Yeah.
But I got a pint. A few of the other lads got a pint. And then next thing, everyone's on it. Nicky Adams got in at 5:30 in the morning, our captain. We played against Bolton Wanderers, won 9-0. And our season, we say now, it all started at Bolton Wanderers.
Yeah.
We didn't score a goal, we didn't win a game.
It's mad how
before
it
that.
comes back like that, yeah.
No, definitely.
It is that team bonding.
I think it's a massive part of it. I was always the one organising stuff and getting it going. But yeah, Bristol City was class. Steve Cotterill was class for my career. Lee Johnson, again, another manager, younger than me, bit like difficult situation. And then 37, I think I was. And it got to like the renewal and they dropped, I was captain and stuff, and they dropped my wages massively, like more, about 65%
Right.
or less. And I was like, "Gaffer, club captain, I still made 36 appearances last year. you're bringing people in on like 18 grand a week and you're dropping my wages that much. I was like, what's that about? He's like, don't take it personal. You're 37. It's a business at the end of the day. It happened to me at Kilmarnock. I was like, doesn't matter. Like, that is a joke. You're offering me the same money as like some of the first year pros are getting.
Yeah.
So I was raging. And then my agent was saying, because it was still good money. Like, it was still good money. Like, it was $3,000 a week. It was still good money for a 37-year-old, right? But I'd been on like 10, right? So I was like, I was fuming. Do you know what I mean? And
because it is a big drop.
yeah,
massive.
And like, so I tried to get something else all summer, but like that was they were clever because it was a good offer for 30 cents. So I was like, right, here's what it is. And then I signed it, but he shook my hand and said like, anything comes up, back up north, because you've lived away from the girls now for 3 years. Because my missus moved around every club with me, Palace, Norwich, everywhere, but when I signed for Bristol, because it was only a year contract, my daughter had 5 different primary schools. Yeah. I was like, I'm a year off retirement age. Bought a house back in Wilmslow. Bristol paid for my apartment, so it was like I can pay the mortgage back home. I'll just do it for a year and then I'll move home. Yeah. Ended up being down there for a year. So the gaffer knew this, and to be fair to him, he said, "Gentleman's handshake. If anything comes up north, you can leave." So
she thought you planned it, didn't she?
So yeah, definitely. So my mate, she always says it saved our marriage. Because like we had that 3-year break, fell in love again. Nah,
fell more in love.
Sorry, Debs. Yeah, but to be fair, like she was on her own with my daughter and that, and it was meant to be a year. Yeah. And I like she'd ring me, "What you up to?" "Oh, been a really hard day today." But like sat in Costa with the lads playing like mini golf. Having a bit of a laugh. But no, it was. I loved it down at Bristol, the boys. And I think you'll be the same. Like, do you know when you play for a club like where everyone's got to live there because it's not like. When I was at Bolton, everyone lived in like Liverpool, Manchester, so you didn't do a lot of stuff. But like when you like Milton Keynes, when I was there, everyone had to live there, so you did stuff together. Norwich, Bristol. I had some. Whereas Palace was a bit. Everyone lived everywhere. Yeah. But like Norwich, Bristol City, MK Dons. Like when you've got that group, what you do stuff together all the time. It's class and it makes it better. But yeah, Lee Johnson promised me I could go somewhere if it came up. And Mark Little, my mate from Bristol City, had signed for Bolton, and he was going, "Albie, like we're in administration, we can't sign anyone for a fee, but we can take free transfers and we're giving decent money." So I was like, right. So I got into my agent and said, like, speak to Bolton, because he said I can go on a free and like tell. Yeah. So like my agent spoke to Bolton and they said, yeah, but he's just signed a new deal. We've seen it on Sky Sports News. And he said, no, but he's got an agreement with Lee Johnson that he can leave on a free if something comes up north because of his family. So he got Bolton interested, and they were like, yeah, we'll do it, because my mate was ringing me going like, we're having all these like Scandinavian like target men come in on trial and the shit. He was like, get into them. Like, he was like, I know you're an old fucker, but get into them. So I was like, right. So I was turning 38 in the October. So I got my agent to get into them, and they were interested. So I went to Lee Johnson, and he's like, fucking hell, but you've just signed your new deal 2 weeks ago. You want me to go to the board now? And I said, Gaffer, you gave me an agreement, anything up north. But he thought it'd be something like Bury was still going at the time. He thought it'd be like a Morecambe or a Bury or a Rochdale or Salford. When it was someone in the same league in the Championship, because Bolton in the Championship, he didn't like it because it looked bad letting the captain go to a rival. And I was like, Gaffer, come on, you promised me. You told me I'm not going to play a lot, and that's the reason my wages have shrunk and all that. So he went, right, okay. And he, to be fair to him, he went to the board, and then I did a goodbye to the fans on the media. It was all done in the right way. And then I went to Bolton and got a couple of grand more like than I was being offered there. So it worked out well, back home.
Big club as well.
Yeah, Bolton legend, aren't you?
Only because of that one. Oh, it's funny. Like I didn't play a lot of that season. And except I was still like disappointed if I wasn't playing. Like Brian Barry Murphy used to laugh when he was manager at 40 because he'd leave me out and I'd be fuming. He'd be like, I'll be 40, mate. Yeah. But he'd like go and train, like, we're going to do some sprint, like do some runs after. The lads are going to do 12, you can do 8. And I was like, no, I'll do 12. And he's like, why? And I was like, because I want the fucking lads to know I'm up to it. Because when it comes to a Saturday and I don't quite make a ball, I'll go, fucking see what I mean? He's too old. He don't do all the training. Yeah. So I always like, no. So I kept that right fight. Yeah.
I'd took the 8.
I knew he was going to say that.
Took the 8 at 22. That's what he wanted.
So like, the 8, mate.
I went Bolton to skip over that quickly. Like, I didn't play a lot. Again, in the bottom all season. Like, come on, like. And then we sold Gary Medine to Cardiff. He was doing quite well that season, to be fair. He went. Then I thought, right, I'll get a chance now. Maybe with Adam Lafonda up front, or because the fans were crying out, we need 2 up front, like typical Bolton fans, like 2 up front. Like,
4-4-2.
So I was like, right. So then he just played Alfie up, like Adam Lafonda up front on his own, and the fans were like, what's got like? And we kept getting beat, and I was like, this is a joke.
Just
and
put
then
me in.
He played me away at Derby. We got smashed. He brought me off at half time. I was raging. So we had 2 games to go.
Was you crap though?
We just got battered, mate.
Just got right.
I wasn't any worse or any better than anyone else on our team that day, but it was just a bit like, what the fuck? And then we had 2 games to go, Burton away, and I'm thinking, I need to play this game. We can beat Burton. Come on, they were like around us as well. And then he didn't play me. I was on the pitch at half time warming up, and like the Bolton fans were coming on the pitch going, why is he not putting you out like Ray? And I was like, I don't know. And then the following week, on about the Tuesday, he just pulled us all in a meeting. We were like, we needed to win and hope that Barnsley and Burton both got beat. If any of them drew, they stayed above us. Like, we needed to win to leapfrog and stay up. He was like, right, lads, everyone's jobs are on the line. Yours, ours, the ground staff, the catering staff, blah, blah, blah. I'm going to name the team now and you get ready for it. And he named me in the team and I'm like, what? Do you know what I mean? And I'd had like fans a couple of weeks earlier when we played someone like drive past the players and go, Wilbraham, you shit, and all that out of the car. Like, fuck off, walking my wash bag and that, chasing the car. And like, I'd had the best of times there, but I was a bit older and I was like, whatever. And then I just got my mind on it all week thinking, like, if I scored a goal to keep these up, like, after the season I've had, I'm like, I kept saying to Mrs., I'm going to fucking score. And she was like, you think? Yeah, I was like, yeah. And I said, if I do my tops, cause I've just been doing pure weights for Vegas. I was like, if I do my tops coming off, she was like, don't be daft. You're fucking 38. Keep your top on. I was like, no, it's coming off and all that. And then
I got that idea. I was
as the game went, like Forest, right? The Forest manager was best mates with the Barnsley manager. So like, I knew Lee Tomlin and that Forest, and I'm texting him going, Tomo, don't be trying too hard Saturday. We need to win, mate. Come on and all that. And he's going, listen, our gaffer's had it on it. He's had us doing shape every day, mate. We're going to be on it, mate. I'm telling you. And we started the game and Forest were busy, mate. And I was like to them, lads, come on. It was red up there. And I was like, lads, we need to stay
playing for anything.
Pack it in.
And I had mates at Derby and Preston, because luckily for us, Burton and Barnsley had Derby away and Preston away, and they both needed to win to get in the playoffs. So it was they should be trying to win. It should, if we can win, hopefully the results go all right. And obviously on the pitch, you don't know what's going on with games. And then it was 0-0 at half time. I'd hit the bar, played quite well. And I was involved in everything. I was fucking running around like a madman again. And then second half, they went 1-0 up and the whole ground just went. And then like Adam Lafondra come on with me and he equalised. And the whole ground went, oh, go on then again. And then I think it was like 81st minute, Forest scored again. And like they were on it, and we were 2-1 down, 9 minutes to go. And I was thinking, I ain't over this, ain't over. And then 86th minute, David Wheater just like bobbled a little one in off his shin, make it 2-2. Like 86 minutes, like come on. And then it was.
Did you get that feeling then?
Yeah, I was thinking, no, it's like, it ain't over yet. Even when Alfie scored the equaliser, I was like, this ain't over yet. Like I'm gonna get the winner. It was mad. I was that, and I'm not just saying it after the event.
What's it called when you? I've got flipping mandate in me, but it's
like
not that.
Premonition.
No, it's called.
Oh no, when you
You'll know this. Come on.
What's it called when you envisage something all the time, all the time?
Begins with an M.
Begins with an M. Can't think what it's called. Anyway, go on.
Yeah, I know it now. You've got it in my head.
Yeah.
Manifest
it. There you go. That's the one.
And I was doing that all week. Like I was saying it to the missus. I was like on it. And it was another kind of one of them situations where I wanted to prove people wrong. Do you know what I mean? The fans who had shouted that on the way past, the way Phil Parkinson had been with that season and stuff.
Yeah.
I was just like, and then it was just like a long goal kick. Carl Hendry flicked it on. Alfie ran into the channel. And I'd played with Alfie at Stockport when he was younger. And Bolton said, when you know your kind of strike partner, are they going to cross it? And I kind of I got into the box and the defender checks his shoulder to think he's got a good position on me. He's watching the ball. He's checked where I am. And as he just looked back, I've just gone bang across.
You went right in front of him.
If it comes across, if the ball gets delivered in, I've got a chance, and just like glancing at her. And then it was just like top off, bang. And yeah, it was maddest. And that was because all the lads' money were getting cut by half if we didn't stay up and all that. And I was
lads must have been absolutely
buzzing.
We had a great night in Manchester that night. But
it must have been a good celebration, that.
Can't believe you didn't go out in Bolton.
It was an 12:30 kickoff, right? And I've never been to Fanny's, and everyone was like, Fanny's, right? But I told me,
What's Fanny's? A place in
Bolton.
It's meant to be class.
No,
it's decent.
It's meant to be good.
Yeah.
I told my mate had arranged this barbecue, right? And my mum was going and all that. My mum's passed away now and all that, but she had cancer at the time, and I'd promised to go back to this family do, right? And the boys were like, "Oh, but you've got," and I was like, "I'm gonna go and show my face at this for a couple of hours because I've said my mum's there and all that, and she's not got long to live." And I was like, "And I'll definitely meet you in a bit." It's 12:30 kickoff, so we were done for 3 p.m. I was like, "I've got to go and do this, lads." And I went and did it, a few beers, and I took one of my mates with me, bang into town, met all the boys. It was class. And I was going Vegas with that Bristol City group again a few days later.
Right.
But Jamie Patterson had said to me, because they all call me Peter Pan because I was still going and older, right? He said, if you score the winner to keep Bolton up today, he rang me on the way to the game. He was like, if you score the winner to keep Bolton today, when you land in Vegas, I'm gonna have about 10 birds holding up a sign saying Peter Pan with loads of champagne. I was like, right. And to be fair, he did. Like, I've got the video of it, yeah, and we walked in and just it said fucking Peter Pan. It had a little sign what said fucking, and then like a P-E-T all the way down, fucking Peter Pan across the club when I walked in. And then he got another one with 88 because I scored in the 88.
Yeah.
And it was just like best trip ever, mate. It was
class. What memories those.
Yeah,
Class,
and I think all the boys were going to Phil Parkinson. Gaffer, you've said about everyone's job being on the line. That's another year for Albie, surely. And he was out. Yeah, I remember him. Right, he had a Budweiser, and he went, "Mate, it's already been spoke about in there. Do you know, put it at the boardroom." I was like, "Okay." And then all summer, didn't really hear anything. And then 7 lads got released middle of May. Like they did a list, bang, went to the papers. I was thinking, "Oh, that's good sign for me in a way," because I would have been on that list surely. And 2 of us got left. And then a few days later, the other lad got released. I was like, right, okay. And then Phil Parkinson met me in the Marriott Hotel on the M56. He went, "Can we meet, Albie?" And I was like, yeah. And I thought they're going to offer me something, but it'd probably be a reduction. But I was like, I'm 38, turning 39. I don't give a fuck. I want to stay, blah, blah. And then he met me and he went, "Albie?" I went, yeah. He goes, "The chairman's not answering me calls. He's in Monaco on his boat. So I think it's just best we say all the best." And he just did it like that. And I went, "He's taking the piss, Gaffer?" And he went, what can I do? Like, this is the beast I'm dealing with. And I went, "Gaffer," I was like, "You treated me like a prick last season, hardly played me. And on that last game, you put me in and said everyone's jobs are on the line. If I was you and I had a player, I'd done that to all season, and then they did what I did for you, I'd be fighting all summer to get his deal sorted, forget everyone else. I don't feel like you fought me corner enough." He was like, I've tried. I was like, "Gaffer, fuck." And I just like stormed out the meeting. He was like, and I just went bang and just walked out the meeting. Then I put it in a group chat of lads. The lads were like, "What?" Fuming. I was like,
yeah.
But in a way, because I left it with that little bit of history and like,
it's a perfect sign off, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like,
perfect sign off.
And the
Just
Bolton
leave it
fans were class with me. Like I got sent a video on Tuesday night away at Wigan. They were singing because the song came on the tannoy. What they used to sing for my song, like they were all singing, and so it's
What's
probably
the song?
Aaron Wilbraham, William Abraham. But no, so like, so I got sent that video and stuff on Tuesday, and the Bolton fans were class, obviously, and then after that, I had talks with Salford.
Yeah.
What year did you leave there, Seds? Working out if it could have been your team,
long
mate.
time ago.
This was 2018. I had
Yeah.
talks with them.
2000 and
Like 2017,
nah,
16.
15, 16, I reckon.
2018, I met Chris Casper and Graham Alexander for talks. I wasn't being snobby, like, but I'd never played lower than League Two, never dropped out of the league, and Rochdale were offering me some at League
You want
One.
to try and stay in the league, don't you? Gosh,
and it's like they're still going to be playing at like Sunderland away, Portsmouth away, and all that. And I just decided to go, but purely on that.
Rochdale League One then?
League One, yeah. So I went there on a year contract. Keith Hill was manager.
Another character.
Yeah, good guy. And
Did he ever interview you in his office in his underpants?
I seen you say that to Calvin Andrew. Calvin's a great lad, by the way, isn't he? He was. I remember once I had a bit of a barney with him because we'd not won for about 10 games, and then we beat Gillingham 3-0 on the Saturday, and I got 3 assists. He played Calv down the middle, Henderson on the right, me on the left, just like Diags and that.
Just using your pace.
Yeah. I trapped back though, mate. And then I got 3 assists, and then we played well, and we'd had shit week after week getting beat, and the mood was shit at the training ground. So I come in with a bit of a spring in my step on the Monday, and I walked past the staff office. And he went, "Albie," and I went, "Right, Gaffer." And he went, "Come here." He went, "You give the ball away a bit too much second half." Saturday. I went, Gaffer, fucking hell. I said, it's the first time we've won in 10 weeks. Give us a bit of sugar. It's Monday morning. I went, I don't need to hear that. I said, I got 3 assists. You're not mentioning that. You mentioned I give the ball away a lot. Taken off. I was like, fucking hell. He's trying to put me back on the floor. I'm up for once. And he went, Albie wants a bit of sugar. So he ran in the dressing room going, Albie wants a bit of sugar. And he's like getting sugar sachets and all that. Do you know what I mean? I was like, no, but do you know what I mean, Gaffer? I was like, keep the spirit up. Why do you always have to put it back down?
Deflators.
Yeah. So, no, but he was good character.
Is that the oldest front three in
probably
league
was at
history?
the time.
That?
Yeah, probably was.
No.
Could have
Probably,
been.
yeah.
Could have been
Definitely
that.
took the average age up, didn't we? No, but
105
I loved it, Rochdale. So
Literally.
you had no canteen, no chef, like anything. Like this guy used to come in with a big box on his back like a Ghostbuster with all our food and plastic plates sat on our knees in the changing room. And like, obviously all the lads are like, not used to this, Albie, not, do you know what I mean? But I went from the start. I always say to me, Mrs., I took you from a League Two wag to a Prem wag, and she always goes, yeah, and back down again, you cunt. but like, and then I'd gone back down, but I just loved it, you know, mucking in with the Rochdale boys. Some great characters there, great mates. Probably speak to them boys just as much as I still speak to the Bristol City lads. And then Keith left, Brian Barry Murphy took over. Played me like pretty much we needed to win like 4 out of 7 games, played all of them, and then I kind of earned the fact to be offered something in the summer. They reduced it a bit again, but this was going to take me to 40, which was my dream. I remember Kev Phillips turning 40 when he was at Palace, and I said, I'd love to do that, Kev. And he went, might be harder for you though, Al, because you're a bit of a big lad. He said, I'd let everyone else take the hits for me over the years. He went, you've had a couple of ops on your back and hip hop. I was like, yeah, true. But that was at 33. I'm thinking, no, I'll prove you wrong, mate. So to get to 40, to get offered that contract off Rochdale where I knew I was going to go in on my 40th birthday and train, and I was just buzzing then. I didn't sack it off after that. I still worked hard and stuff.
This is an unbelievable stat. Scored in 4 decades.
I couldn't believe it when the woman said that to me. I scored for Rochdale against Newcastle in the FA Cup in January, right? And this was another game where I came in and Brian Barry Murphy, I wanted in the team, I was fuming at him. I was like raging. And we're 1-0 down at half time, and he brought me on, and I got man of the match on BT Sport and scored.
I think I watched it. I was going to say, I'm sure I've watched you score a goal.
I scored. Me salt and pepper was all over the gaff. My hair powder. But like, he always laughs about it. He said in his interview after the game, Brian Murphy, he was fuming when he wasn't playing, but he's 40, I have to give him a rest now and again, blah, blah. But yeah, the girl come up to me for BT Sport and she was like, so how does it feel to have scored in 4 decades? And I just couldn't get my head around it. I was like, I'm 40. I'm only 4 decades myself. And then I was like, right, debut goal against City, 98. So I've scored in the 90s. I've scored in the 2000s, 2010s, and this was January 2020. So I've gone into... I was like, fucking hell, I have, do you know what I mean? And she was like, there's only you and Stanley Matthews who've done it or something.
Who's that?
Class.
Then a week later, fucking Ibrahimovic did it.
Oh, cheers.
But fucking Wilbraham beat him to it.
Yeah, Wilbrahimovic.
So like, it was...
Wilbrahimovic.
That was a mad stat, and like... when the girl said it, I couldn't get my head around it. But yeah, that was a nice little touch towards the end of
good.
Really good.
Good and to have that. Scored in all 4 divisions.
It was the first goal after my mum had passed away as well. Like, so I was like buzzing like after the turn of the year when she'd passed away. So I give a little lovely mum and all that. But
nice.
Sorry, bud. Go on.
No, very nice. Scored in all 4 divisions as well.
Yeah, all 4 divisions.
That was buzzing off that. Yeah, obviously that 99 goals when I got to the Prem, so that made it the 4th one. Yeah, but. Yeah.
Great little stats there, isn't it, for that career. So, and then obviously then you ended
lockdown
with
happened.
manager.
Yeah, lockdown happened in March. I was still conscious at Rochdale, still doing all the Strava stuff, running, trying to keep fit. And then by the time football got going again, I was nearly 41. There was no money about, was there? No one was really coming in. I didn't really want to travel far. And I was like... thinking, get me Zimmer frame out and carry on playing.
Is that hard to accept, or because of lockdown, had you accepted it already?
A little bit, but because it wasn't on my terms, and like everyone was all going, how long are you going to go on? I didn't like the fact that because of a pandemic, it took a pandemic to retire me, I can say that, but I didn't like the fact, because I was still playing every week for Rochdale. My last game I played, we beat Rotherham 3-1. Rotherham went up that season. If we wouldn't have won that game, we would have gone down on the points per game total, but Tranmere went down because of that game. Right. So although you talk about the Bolton goal, like for Rotherham as well, it was a good last game for them. Do you know what I mean? And I was still wanted to carry on playing. I still felt fit and everything, so I did all the work, but then it just got to a point where nothing was happening. It's like... And then Steve Cotterill got the Shrewsbury Town job, and he just rang me and he said, listen, I know you've had no coaching experience, but you've got your B and your A licence. I'd love you to be my assistant because I trust you. You're my captain at Bristol and you can learn off me and come in and learn off me. So I went in there for like 17 days, and then he got manager of the month in his first month, and then he got hospitalised with COVID. So there's a big outbreak at the club. 21 of us got it out of the whole 30-man squad. And the gaffer was one of the last to get it. And when he got it, he just deteriorated in hospital for 4 months. So I was there for 17 days and then got took from not having a clue what I'm doing. I was like, because when I went in at Shrewsbury, right, I'd played with 5 of the lads. I'd played with 2 of them at Bristol City, Josh Vella at Bolton, 2 of them at Rochdale, like Raquel Pike, Ethan Ebanks Blake. So I was like one of the boys, and it was good in a way because they knew how I'd been. I'd been a lot of their captain. I'd been a lot of their lads on and that. So they knew, because sometimes you can think the staff are a bit snaky in that. Yeah. They knew I was a good lad. They would have been to the other lads, Albie won't stitch you up. If I'd seen them out a couple of times in Alderley Edge and stuff, knowing all the lockdown tiers. Yeah. To go to a different tier to have a drink. I seen them all in Alderley Edge. I was like, oh, you?
Only 6 of them there, though.
But I never went back and told the gaffer, do you know what I mean? But and he knew that. So that helped me settle into the management. But then to get thrown in as the manager after such a short time, I was like, wow. It's like 4 press conferences a week, pre and post game. If you've got a Tuesday game, you're doing it again. It's in the middle of transfer window because it was January. I was just like,
Do you not sign someone who you wanted?
Well, no, to be fair, we did bring people in, but Keith Burt, director of football, was doing mainly that. But he'd run things by me.
You'd have had your recruitment staff as well.
I gave a couple of young lads like the date, but like the gaffer, like to be fair to him, I'd wake up in the morning and he would have sent me screenshots of 8 pages of A4, like what to do, what to speak to the physio about who's back from training, like from his hospital bed. He's like, no money heist, the professor. He was like the professor, like dictating it all from his hospital bed. Yeah. He never stopped working all the way through. And it was, mate, he'd make me wear AirPods while the game's going on. And he'd be watching it on iFollow. So while the game's going on, I'd be on a touchline and he'd ring me and go, have we fucking cleared that corner yet? And I was like, Gaffer, that was about 2 minutes ago. He was behind in the hospital Wi-Fi. So I was like, Gaffer, that was about 2 minutes ago. That's gone. We've got a corner now. And then he'd like it because he was up to date. And he'd have me comment, and I'm like, Gaffer, I've got to get the boys going. He's like, oh, yeah, sorry. Put the phone down. Fucking hell. And I'd get the boys going again. But he used to like, he was in intensive care twice, and he'd ring me and go, just thinking, has that gym floor been cleaned at the training ground? And I was like, Gaffer, you're in hospital, in intensive care, both lungs scrambling, and you're worried about the gym floor being clean. I was like, if it's been clean, it's been clean. If it hadn't, it hadn't. But he's like so like on it. He works bollocks off, to be fair.
So was it an eye-opener that you had to do that much?
Oh, massive, mate. And to be fair, the lads were really good because they could have fucked about, like the gaffer's not about, but they respected that he was ill, and it was like a pretty like worrying situation because like at one point when he went intensive care the second time, it was like, fuck, 'cause a lot of people were dying from it. So the lads were really good, to be fair. Like, they could have just fucked it off. And we were in a relegation battle, by the way. Like, when we took over, they had 7 points in December. We finished on 57. So the gaffer got manager a month, helped massively. And then me and Dave Longwell, the first team coach, just kept the boys going. And yeah, once we were safe, it was buzzing because we'd done the job. Yeah. You know what I mean? And then he was dead good. The gaffer, he came out, got us both rewarded with a bit more money. Me and Dave, he took the and that was good. But he used to do his team talks like from a boombox in the corner. So at half time, he'd come on, can you hear me, lads? And someone would ring him on like WhatsApp, like, so it'd be on top of the speaker. So it was coming through the speaker, but he could hear you back through the phone. And he'd be like, right, you need to line. He'd be like, but he'd give a few bollockins out as well, do you know what I mean? Because he couldn't see us.
Can you imagine his ward? He's like a fucking plot.
He had his own room then, but like we used to say that, me and Missy used to say, imagine the nurses walking past, what the fuck's going on in there? Oh, it's match day. But like he used to, I remember like, so all the lads knew he was in charge of the substitutions. He'd ring me and blah, blah, blah. And I'd suggest stuff. And we were 2-0 down to Fleetwood. And he rang me and was like, we're fucking shit. We're going mad. And I was like, I know. And he was like, triple substitution. Him and him for him and him. Right. So the lads come off. They know it's not coming from me. Yeah. Like, so I was like, so the first 2 lads come off, like, give me a little handshake. And then Harry Chapman just fucking pied me, walked straight down the tunnel, right? So I was so fuming because I'm thinking, I love Chappie. Like, I bigged him up to everyone. I was always like his biggest fan, and he just completely, because he was pissed off at coming on. Yeah. 2-0 down, and we played shit, and he walked straight past me. And you would have seen that happen to people like over the years. You see it on Sky, and the managers
Gaffers hate it though, don't they?
And they don't react though, do they? Managers, they just let him walk past. I went fuck that. I just followed him down the tunnel, right? So me being an experienced manager, I was so fuming at him, right? I just followed him down the tunnel, left the game going on, right? So I walked, and he don't know, so I'm walking behind him. So he gets in the dressing room, he sits down, he's taking a bit, and I walk in, I go, Chappie, what the fuck's that about? And he goes, it's shit. I said, no, it's shit you doing that to me when you know I don't even make the subs anyway. I was like, what the fuck is that about? So I was raging. And I'm like, I tell you what, Chappie, that's fucking most anyone's ever disrespected me in a game, you cunt. And I punched this bottle at him, this plastic bottle, and it flew towards him, and I cut all my hand open, right? So I walked back out, hands full of blood. Everyone's wondering where the manager's gone, right? And for the last, 12 minutes of the game, it was like I wasn't even watching it. They beat us 2-0, it stayed 2-0, but I couldn't even, I was shouting the odd thing, but I was so raging at Chappie had done that, I was fuming. But the gaffer's ringing me 8 minutes ago. He just fucking blanked you. Because the gaffer hates that more than anything, right? The first thing he says to a squad when he gets them is, if I ever sub you, it's to get you a round of applause because you've done well. It's because I think you're tired or you've not been very good. Or I just want to change it. But either way, my hand will always be there to shake yours. Yeah. So you make sure you shake mine, because he doesn't like how it looks to the chairman. Yeah. So he's all about body language. He doesn't like people moaning at other people. So and it's a good thing. Do you know what I mean? So he went, is he just fucking, he's down my AirPods. Is he blanked you? And I went, yeah. He goes, little cunt. Right. I'll see you in a bit. I went, right. So he went off for 8 minutes doing whatever he's doing. I'm thinking he's going to turn up. Right. So then we come in afterwards. Right. And Chappie's changed in his trackie and that, and he's, as I walk down the tunnel after the game, he's trying to shake my hand, going, oh, something. I'm just fuck off, pied him. I was fuming. So AJ, the fitness coach, said, oh, do you want everyone in? I went, yeah. So everyone come in, and I thought, do you know what, I'll just let the gaffer speak first, because he obviously wants to nip this in the bud. Yeah. So AJ goes, I'll be jumping around the gaffer. And yeah. So everyone's waiting. So the phone rings, and he goes, hello. So AJ goes, yeah, you're on, gaffer. He goes, right. He goes, everyone in? So yeah. Harry Chapman, are you in? He goes, yeah, gaffer. He goes, who the fuck do you think you are, you little cunt, down the speaker full blast, right? So he just doesn't say anything. He goes,
it must be so weird.
Imagine being him, talking to a speaker.
He goes, doing that to Aaron Wilbraham, who bigs you up every day, who's your biggest fan, and you do that to him. You can't lace his boots, you can't. He's mad. Yeah. He's you're only at our place because Blackburn have fucked you off. And now you think you can win because you've scored a few goals against the shit teams in this division. You think you're a fucking player. He goes, what were you saying when you came off to Albi? It's shit. I'll tell you who's fucking shit. You. He goes, 62 minutes, 44 touches, 36 complete. He had all these stats. So for that 8 minutes, right, yeah, he got every stat, and he read out all these stats, right? Chappie was just sinking into the sea, right? And then he went, Sean Goss, 18 minutes, who came on for him? He goes, 18 minutes, 44 touches, 86 completion rate. So who do you think's Chappie? Who do you think's shit, Chappie? I think it's fucking you. And everyone, he was just silent for about 5 minutes.
Out this speaker.
And it was just...
He's just thinking, why didn't I shake his fucking hand?
I know. And then, to be fair, Chappie texted me on the way home, really, so sorry, Albie, shit from me. Found out my granddad had cancer on the Friday. You might have seen on Friday, I was a bit moping about in training, which he was. And he said, I'm so sorry, mate, blah, blah. And I told the gaffer, and the gaffer's like, no, leave him. I said, no, I'm not doing that. So I texted him back and I said, Chappie, I lost my dad 3 months before my career started, 3 months before I went on trial at Stockport. I lost my mum 3 months before my career ended. Anything like that, you should have told me, mate, because I know better than anyone. Wouldn't have been a problem. And he was like, no. And me, and after that, come in the thingy, give him a hug on the Monday morning. I was never any different with him. Still love him to bits now. Just one of them things, you know what I mean?
I think that's the thing as well, being a manager or coach. You're so involved in the training and the lads and the result, you forget sometimes what's happening outside of football. Yeah. And sometimes it's hard to identify. Is he being quiet? Is he being off? Is he keeping himself to himself? And sometimes you do get so involved with the football side of it, you do forget about the personal life.
That's 0.2% of being a manager, that bit though, isn't it? So it's easy to forget about.
Yeah, because he's so focused.
But the best managers in the world identify them off moments.
Yeah, and to be fair to Chappie, I didn't change one bit of him from that point. And then the following game, he scored an absolute worldie at Burton, ran right over to the bench, jumped on me. So it was it was good. Do you know what I mean? And it's so I had a couple of things like that when I was in charge, and it was just weird holding the reins for 3 or 4 months. Do you know what I mean? On the sidelines, it was. Did you
not fancy? What does the future hold now? I know you've talked about you've done the agency exam.
Yeah, so I enjoyed it, right? I did it for 3 years at Shrewsbury, good club, everything. And I liked being the gaffer's assistant. I think I was good for him. I wasn't the best, I don't claim to be the best coach, but what I was good at was running the dressing room for him, running the staff. I was good at organising. I used to do individual meetings on if we were playing Barnsley, I'd clip the most 6 dangerous players for Barnsley, what they were good at, what they usually do, what foot they like to come in on. if they didn't like anything, if they had a little kick out, if you could wind them up, I'd point out that in the meeting. And I'd do all the meeting, bit of analyst work.
Yeah.
And I enjoyed that side of it. I think I was good at keeping the spirit up, and I used to do finishing sessions, ref a five-a-side, it's a piece of piss. And I did want to be a manager, and I probably would have gone into it with a really experienced, enthusiastic assistant. But I think it's just that I haven't fell out of love with football, but 24 years as a player, 3 years as an assistant, and the politics, and you've always got a noose around your neck. So, and the higher up you go, you've got people in the board telling you who to play. I've seen the way Steve Cotterill's been treated at Bristol City, Birmingham, Shrewsbury a little bit, and I just think it puts me off going down that route. And you've got that merry-go-round, the managers like Carl, Michael Appleton, all them good managers around that level who are always going to get the jobs. And I'm the same age as like Lampard, Gerrard, a few years older than Rooney. They'll get the better jobs because of what they've done, whereas with the agency thing, which is what I always wanted to do anyway. When I finished playing, everyone was always like, you bang on for it, Albie, you'll be really good at it. I always wanted to do that anyway. It just so happened that the assistant manager job role fell into my lap in lockdown.
You couldn't turn it down.
And I thought it's better to do it that way round than try and be an agent and come back into the game because you ain't going to get back in.
Yeah.
So I've just took my exam, passed it, which was difficult, and I'm buzzing that I passed it because it was like good achievement and stuff, and I'm just going to see what happens from now going forward. I haven't really decided for definite, but it was just like when I got the A and B license ready just in case. I've just kind of done that because I'm still like adapting to coming out of the game, but it's been nice to have like 5 or 6 months off out the game, not being dictated to where to be at what time for the first time in
Chilling.
27
you've
years.
You've definitely got the experience to guide lads, give contract information, advice, career advice, haven't you? And you've played it, like we talked about, every level.
Played for 4 decades.
That's the thing I think I can help with, because like although it's like turning me back on the coaching, it isn't really, because you can be like a bit of a one-to-one coach in terms of mentoring them and helping them.
Yeah, a big part of being an agent is being a mentor to the lads.
He says some stuff that he would tell his lads, and I'm like, I wouldn't have even thought of that. Do you know what I mean? So, and
it is all
that's off the pitch stuff and that, and it's loads of. I probably learned a lot from him as well.
Yeah,
off the pitch stuff is massive because lads, once they get to a certain level, they're all as near enough as good technically, physically, as good as each other.
Yeah,
it's that mentality that takes them to the next level and keeps them there. Yeah, and it's the ones that make it are the ones who don't get too down or too happy when things are going great or bad. It's 100%. The ones who put the work in the gym every day and don't look at it short term, look at it right. How was this half an hour today going to help me in 5 years' time? And it's just having that real strong mentality. And that's the biggest thing for me. Mate, but honestly, unbelievable career.
Yeah, lad.
Statistics.
Cheers, boys.
Mate,
when you played for Rochdale at the end, I actually thought you was like 28, 29.
Cheers,
I didn't think you was
38,
49.
Cheers, mate. 44 now, boys.
I don't say Will Abraham, Aaron Wilbraham,
Abraham Lincoln.
Brilliant.
Nah, thanks a lot, boys. Appreciate it.
Top man.
Great to have you on. Thanks, pal.
Cheers.
Nice one, boys.